We don't know about that one. But welcome into the show where Trump supporters come up here and do what they do best. Despite that, I have hope. I have hope that today we are going to speak to a Trump supporter and we're going to have some reasonable, half decent conversations. I think that's what I'm going to shoot for. That's what I'm going to aim for. And we'll see how lucky we get in that department. I do have a good bit of news to go over with you guys in the meantime, between time. But first and foremost, are you tired of your grocery prices being irrationally high? Are you tired of your friends and family leaving you behind in the dark because they can't stand the rhetoric that you're spreading? Are you finally under the belief or out of the belief that the Keystone pipeline would have affected your gas prices? If you are those and more, thank you, Karen, for the money gun. If you are those and more, this live is a safe space for you, the place for you to come up here and express all the reasons why you regret your vote, because there's a growing number of the Trump administration that does, whether privately or publicly. And that's why I started this live, for Trump supporters to come up here and express to me what exactly made them get up off the MAGA plantation. Make no mistake, it is a plantation. You do get lashes when you don't support. We can ask the likes of people like Nancy Mace, Thomas Massey, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, so on and so forth. Prominent Republican and loud voices in the party, specifically in the government, that are now outed because they are the 3 of the 4 Republicans that actually spoke up loud about justice for the Epstein victims. We can talk about prominent podcasters and social media figures such as Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes even, all of them and more, who are finally waking up and going, Megyn Kelly, oopsies, it looks like we led the people astray. This is the live for you to come back home. Come up here and tell me exactly what made you get off that plantation. Or if you are a Trump supporter who does not regret their vote, you think he's doing a wonderful job, you think there's something that I'm missing, which I love it when you guys tell me things that I don't know. Happens 5% of the time. You may also request up in the box or call the number on screen, 737-295-5321. I don't know who you guys are and what you're rambling on about, but there's a request box open for you. You got wrecked by Andrew Wilson. I still have to go post that clip of Andrew Wilson not answering a simple question because he was incapable of doing so. If that's what you define as wrecked, then sure. It's funniest thing to me. Hey, Andrew, can you please tell us, Andrew, how net zero migration benefits your life? What do you think about Trump's tweets manipulating the markets? I don't need a tweet. We could look at what he did. He bragged about it. He bragged about it in the White House. He literally bragged about it in the White House. What leftist billionaire is funding you? I wish it was George Soros. Bro. So if you guys look in my email, at the very bottom, my link tree at the very bottom of my link tree in my profile, it says, for all business inquiries and when the DNC is ready to pay me. I've been waiting for the DNC for a hot minute. It's hilarious you're still talking about Andrew. You guys keep bringing him up. Look at it. You just did it. Your friend just did it. Your friend just did it. You guys keep worshiping Zaddy Andrew, and it's weird. I think the cope is coming from y'all's side. Clearly. In any case, Trump supporters request up in the box. You are the demographic of people I'd like to have a conversation with. If you're over on the tube side, you may call the number on screen, 737-295-5321. Oh, thank you. W's in the chat to Block Daddy for DNC bot 679-15019 for the $1 Cash App. I appreciate you. Looks like I did get a DNC bot check. Not the DNC, but they have their bots roaming around. I appreciate your donation. W's in the chat to you. Guys, knock out the 1 cent gift goes as well. Make sure we're getting boosted out on the FYB. Alongside tapping that screen, make sure you're sending your daily heart me's and sharing out the live with your friends and family. We are going to go over, because I did quite a bit of reading today, which is why in part I'm kind of late to the live. I was supposed to do it a little bit earlier today. But there's a lot of stuff happening. Specifically, Democrats are getting some Republican support in Congress with 2 recent bills. I'm not sure how many of you guys know about this, but I did quite a bit of reading on it today. I'll even go as far to talk about my state.
God bless you.
What if I told you, serious, real question. What if I told you that Greg Abbott is calling for more AI regulations? That is correct. Greg Abbott looks like his people Looks like the Republican Party in the state of Texas are actually getting concerned about the ramping up of AI data centers here in the state. And he called for some reforms. I can start off with that one here. Let me put it up on the screen for you guys, because I actually couldn't believe it. And what if I told you some of this was even passed in a bill last year, SB 6, to start the regulation of AI. I had no idea. I found out about it today. I am late to the party, and I was very shocked. Very shocked. You know what it is? Here's and what we tend to see specifically in election years when it comes to midterms. This stuff happens when Republicans are feeling the heat, when they have to actually do the thing that they were supposed to be doing the whole time politically, bipartisanship, acknowledging the needs of the people. That only comes into play when it's an election year. Then you go, okay, if I don't do this, I'm going to piss my people off. And if I piss my people off, it's going to make it more difficult for me to win. And then after the midterms, whatever the results, they get comfy and start wilding out. I don't know where to put this. I don't know where to put this. We're going to put that right there. That's fine. And we're going to read a little bit of it. This was yesterday. Abbott recommends sweeping data center regulation, including eliminating sales tax exemption. The recommendations for legislative action amount to a striking call for industry regulation by the Republican governor in a state that has long prided itself on being a favorable environment for business. Thank you so much, Karen, for your awesomes. I appreciate you. And W's in the chat to the One Mighty Fed for the $5 super chat. Bot 8475 reporting for duty. Hope you get better common sense callers tonight. If we get any at all, but we will see. Governor Greg Abbott on Tuesday released sweeping regulatory recommendations. They're just recommendations, but we'll start there. On data centers for the legislature to pass in the 2027 session as Texas grapples with explosion of artificial intelligence-driven development and soaring power demands. In a letter to the state regulators, Abbott outlined a series of proposals designed to ensure data centers should shoulder the cost of their growth rather than Texas ratepayers. Among his legislative priorities, guys, I just want to remind everyone, everything I'm about to read here is Greg Abbott. I'm not lying to you. This is Greg Abbott's suggestions. Okay? Requiring new facilities to add power generation to the state's power grid. Requiring data centers pay for their own grid interconnection and infrastructure cost. Mandating the use of closed-loop water systems, which draw a large amount of water at the start but reuse it over some period of years. Require annual reporting by all data centers on electricity and water use, establishing best practice standards to address community concerns like noise, repealing data center sales tax exemptions, and other outdated or unnecessary incentives for data centers. The Texas Tribune reported earlier this year that the state is poised to lose $3.2 billion in sales tax revenue over the next 2 years because of a sales tax exemption. Now, riddle me this, chat. A lot of what I just read sounded real lib. That sounded real lib, don't you think? That didn't sound very GOP to me. So I wonder why Greg Abbott is now waking up to what we've been screaming and crying for quite some time now. I'm just curious. Unofficial Erica Raid, yeah, I know she's getting tired. She's probably going to wrap up in a second. Why is it that Greg Abbott is now waking up to the fact that AI data centers are not to be trusted unapologetically? Now, in a perfect world, we can live in a society where these policies wouldn't be labeled with stupid things such as liberal or conservative, Democrat, Republican. They would just be for America. The problem is our politics has become so damn polarized because the president of the United States can't stop talking shit. Can't stop. He wishes he could. He does his best. No, he doesn't. That's a lie. All he wants to do is make every single issue partisan. Fun fact, tax reform is not partisan. Healthcare coverage for all Americans is not, yes, he's up for re-election in November. Healthcare coverage for all is not partisan. Majority of Americans also agree on comprehensive firearm reform. But for some reason, we dig into these issues and we make it left or right. And it's killing us. And it's killing us. Yes, Texas is being overrun. So I think that's what they're waking up to. They're seeing it come out. They're seeing it come out. And there it is. How's job hunting? I don't know. How long have you been unemployed? Do you need help? Do you need help getting a job, my guy? I mean, from what my people tell me, yeah. Mark said I do. I may also have some connects depending on what you do, Mark. Depending on what you do, I may have some connects. But no, like, okay. I hope you find a job, my guy. Homie, you complain about economy and unemployed, asking money for help. Yes, I talk about how Donald Trump has directly influenced the growing unemployment rate. Not that I'm in desperate need of employment. And I also do put my links up in the bio for people to donate to me, which they have. I am so sorry that offends you. Let me help you out. Hold on. Let me help you out. Let me help you utilize your voice. Let me help you utilize your voice, IDK. Because you come in this live. I've seen you in here a few times now. And it's the same chirping. Chirp, 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 chirp. I'm a Trump supporter who has no money and no life and no women. So I have to cry in liberal spaces about all the ways that they're doing better than me. You should figure that out. Take that upon yourself, please. Sort that out yourself. Sort that out yourself. So yeah, Greg Abbott finally decided to pull from the Democratic playbook, much as, let me be clear, that's what Republicans have been doing all year. House, Senate, obviously there's the extreme ones, but House, Senate, speakers, the people who have now criticized Iran, the people who are now speaking on behalf of what inflation is, which is now 4.2%, and it's going to go up even more after the actions of yesterday. The healthcare, childcare, all of these things now being championed on the campaign trail by Republicans. You know why? Because they're realizing that maybe running off of shitting on LGBTQ people and putting the blacks in their place isn't a winning strategy. It worked in 2024 when everyone was just disassociated with everything that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did for the country. But now that they had a year and a half to learn some things, now that they realize that the Republicans are no better, quite literally worse, they're starting to rethink some things. So they have to change their tune. I'll never forget the Fox clip that I saw. This is a Fox News host who said the Democratic Party is the party of the rich, white, and affluent. Fox News was using race, white specifically, as an insult, as a deterrent from the Democratic Party. Make that make sense. Trump plows left-wingers. I'm sure he thinks about it. That's why he can't stop talking about us. Do you think about plowing left-wingers? Do you think about plowing left-wingers? Dude, it's Pride Month. It is Pride Month, my guy. There are 19 days left in the month. 19 days, bro. Live your best unapologetic self. Go to that rainbow street. Go. It's fun. I promise you. Go. And no one would even know. Dude. Here's what you guys need to understand. A large portion of the Republican Party, the men specifically, white men, are closeted. So just go down to that street, stay in the corners, have fun. I promise you, you'll come back happier. And maybe if you guys did more of that, you would spend less time in keyboards, in chats like this. How many states declared this month Nuclear Family Month? I don't know. Why do I care? No idea. Trump supporters request up in the box. You are the demographic of people I'd like to have a conversation with. If you are over on the tube side, you may call the number on screen, 737-295-5321.
Call from
Brian.
Brian, you're on the line. Happy Pride. Did you vote for Trump?
I did vote for Trump.
All right.
I mean, I thought February was Pride Month.
No. It's June. February is Black History Month.
Wasn't it something? Is it? It's something else too with LGBTQ, isn't it?
Not that I know
Mhm. All right. Well, I heard you talking bad about white people. Sounded like a racist.
I'm sorry, what did I say bad about white people?
You're talking about white people generally and how they're coping, or they're. It's just like you're speaking about races, and it's not cool.
Okay, hey, listen, I did have a weird night sleeping, so maybe my memory's a little off. I don't recall talking shit about white people. The last thing I remember saying is about Fox News weaponizing whiteness when they had a host to go on there and say that Democratic Party was a party of the rich, white, and affluent, and how they're utilizing race as a winning strategy to appeal to people because their policies weren't working. I remember saying
I
that.
believe that's true.
I don't
That is
remember
100%.
saying anything bad about white people as a demographic. Is that what you heard?
Okay. Yeah, maybe I misheard you.
Oh.
But it's interesting because I do actually agree with that notion that because if you look at 85% of black people vote for Democrats, and you shouldn't see an ideological rift of that magnitude.
Yeah.
And I don't know
I'm
what
sorry,
have
what
Democrats
sentiment
done
is
for
it that you
black
said you
folks?
agreed with?
No, I agree with the notion that Democrats have weaponized race, and they are the party of the Silicon Valley rich elites who, Democrats were slave owners then, and now they're slave owners now, only with the mind.
Oh, interesting. So when you
Do
say
you
Democrats
have a
weaponize
reputation of that?
the Democratic Party of
Yeah,
weaponizing race?
yeah.
No, I wouldn't say so at all. I think the Democratic Party
Using
would
it,
represent
well, you can call it
different
what you want.
races.
Using it as a tool to gain power. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Using as a tool to gain power. I mean, in that aspect, I can say yes, because it's the cozy party for minorities and underprivileged communities, so they can lie comfortably without being shamed, such as not would take place in the Republican Party. I think when
Well,
Donald
the
Trump got up on a
Republicans.
stage and he said that they're taking your black jobs, I think that was one of the most gross examples of how the Republican Party weaponizes race. The only difference is Donald Trump has increased the black unemployment rate specifically versus Democrats who decrease it.
Well, that's actually untrue from the first term to now. And you actually look at the share of the black vote, he actually gained votes from when he ran initially to later on.
Did I talk about
And
votes or did I talk about unemployment? Also, yes, I'm aware of the fact that Donald Trump has gained, 4% more black women since 2020, and I forgot the percentage for men. That doesn't change the fact that the vast majority of us, especially black women, very much vote Democratic. And that makes perfect sense considering that black women are the most educated when it comes to college degrees in the United States.
indoctrinated. We all know what goes on in these schools. And I went to one of those schools.
No, I don't. Well, tell me
And
what goes on in a college.
Well, if you don't toe the ideological line of the professor, then you get scored negatively. And if you get scored negatively, you don't pass, or you don't get the grade that you want to compete. And I found
The
personally,
ideological line of the professor. I don't know if you know this. Colleges aren't where you sit there and you spill your personal ideological belief. Colleges is where you go for studies on economics, studies on biology, study on engineering, and then other classes that could be optional, such as CRT, social, gender, so on and so forth. That's completely separate, and I don't know why you, as a person who would disagree with some of those factors, would go into those classes, but it sounds like you should take that up with yourself and not other people go to college to better themselves and their intelligence.
well, the reason I would disagree is because the rift is so deep to the point where we don't even agree on what a man is and what a woman is. And when you have that fundamental of a rift, it shows up everywhere. And that's, with how you deal with trans people, to just the level of discourse in the classroom. And I think it brings everybody down. And, I'm glad I
You think rifts
learned
bring
in the real
everyone down?
world. Say what now?
You think rifts bring everyone down?
Do I think rifts bring everyone down? I don't know what you mean by that.
Did you not just say that this thing that's causing
No.
this rift brings everyone down?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily categorize it that way. I mean, when you look at
Okay. Do
colleges,
you
they are
think the rift
ideologically
in
one
the
way, right?
Do you think the
But
rift
when
in
we
the
back
country
that
brings
out,
people up? That's a better question. Do you think rifts in the country bring people up?
It depends. It depends on if it's a healthy discussion. I feel like a lot of the times your discussions are not healthy.
Will we describe a
think
rift as a healthy discussion?
I don't
Or
think
can
you
we
really
say a
have
healthy discussion would come with a rift?
Well, I think in some cases disagreements can bring people together in a healthy way, but I think the kind of conversations that you have are not healthy.
I couldn't agree
I
with
think
you
you
more.
are-
I am 6,000% of the belief that disagreements can help bring the country together. Here's the problem with that. So if you and I disagree on if apples and oranges are, if one or the other is better, hey, we can talk shit about that. We can josh around and we can go on about our day because it's really not that serious. It's all a matter of your subjective experience, whatever your taste bud prefers, so on and so forth. But now, if you and I have a disagreement on something that's objective, such as, I don't know, the difference between sex and gender, or 2 + 2 = 4, or trickle-down economics having more than a 50-year history of showing that the only thing that trickles down is piss and transferring wealth from the lower and middle class to the 1%, then those are the areas where we're going to start to have some, actually, I'm not even going to say negative discussions. That's all dependent on the person.
If trickling down didn't happen, then what is the device that you're communicating with everyone on? What is the technology and the innovation and the quality of life that's been happening? I don't think you realize what kind of world you're in.
I do.
The miracles
I believe
that
we're
are
in
happening
a
on a
capitalist
daily basis.
society where innovation has always been at the foundation of the United States before we started giving the rich super extra tax cuts. Even to the degree that they're considering suspending some of the sales tax exemptions that we got. In fact, I was just reading that story here in the state of Texas. 1 second, sir. W's in the chat to Taffy for the $2 super chat for the Erica raid. W's in the chat to you. Thank you so much. And shout out to the Erica raiders, the unofficial ones, because I think she's still alive. And also big W's to you, Taffy. Thank you so much for sending out the 5 memberships over on the YouTube side. To all of you DEI members over on the YouTube, I hope you enjoy it. Please make sure you're checking out the perks. Every single member or TikTok superfan or subscriber to the Discord gets an automatic discount off the merch shop. Please remember that and remember where to get it. All the directions are in your perks. And thank you, the One Mighty Pen, for also sending 5 more memberships. WCU, I guess it's my lucky day. The DNC is shining its light on me. Thank you so much to One Mighty Pen and to the 5 other DEI subscribers. Enjoy your perks. W's in the chat to Donald for the $10 PayPal. I didn't hear you say anything bad about white people, but as a white man myself, I say feel free to say anything you want about white people. I guarantee it wouldn't be anything worse than I do daily. Damn. The more I see, the more shit I say about white people. Well, like I said, I didn't start off with saying anything about white people. I will now. I think the caller's whatever he heard me say was a perfect example of white fragility, and we will talk about that in a second. But W's in the chat to you.
There you go.
W's in the chat to Manda for the $2 Venmo. Hey, will you please tell the caller the thing I like to say to weak white men? That he's the reason us white women are voluntarily celibate. Sincerely, a white woman. Thank you. Appreciate you. Not him, though. Yuck. You just got a yuck, bro.
But this is a perfect example of what exactly I'm talking about. Because if we were talking about black people and you took out the word white and you said black, it would be outrageous. But you're creating, and the people like you are creating on the left, a society where it's okay to bash a certain group of people, and it's disgusting.
Hey, so I got a question for you. Do you think I don't like white people?
For that? Or do you actually have any? Do you know how to debate at all?
I do. I mean, I would think so.
All right. Well,
I don't necessarily call this a debate space, just because in order to engage in a debate, the opposing side would have to be ready, which most of you times are not, and I spend most times educating. So I consider myself an educator. But sure, I can engage in a little debate of fisticuffs. But my question was, do you think I don't like white people?
Do you have a reputation for one of the things I've said?
I don't necessarily call this a debate space just because in order to engage in a debate, the opposing side would have to be ready, which most of you times are not, and I spend most times educating. So I consider myself an educator. But sure, I can engage in a little debate of fisticuffs. But my question was, do you think I don't like white people?
That's what I suspect. I don't really know you personally,
That's what you
but
suspect. Well, it sounds like the things you
when I
were
hear the
saying along the
anger,
line, you were saying things along the line of basically implying that I have some type of disdain or disrespect or uh, hateful ideology about white people.
Mhm. But well, from what I've heard from your supporters and the culture that you're creating on your channel, that's what it sounds like.
The culture I'm creating
But
on my channel. What kind of culture do you think I'm creating on my channel?
an anti-white, racist culture.
Anti-white. Okay, so you do think I'm anti-white. Okay, got you. See, like I
I
don't know
do.
why you didn't just say that. So you think
Well,
I'm
I
anti-white.
suspect it. I'm not saying that I think that's true for 100% because I don't know you personally. I'm going to
But you
reserve
suspect
judgment,
it
but I'm
and you
just
feel
telling
that
you.
way. You feel that way. And I can
In
confirm
good,
it. The reason why I can confirm
correct.
it is because of what I said earlier, the white fragility you displayed the second you got up on this platform. Because you said, mind you, I'm hosting an entire live to talk to Trump supporters, right? See if they regret their vote, so on and so forth. But you called in specifically and you said, I called in because you were talking mess about white people. That's what you said. Even
Okay.
though
And
I
then you
wasn't.
continued. That
You
only proves
heard
my
me say
point
the
by
word white.
continuing to
Hold
do
on,
it.
hold on. You heard a black face. You saw a black face. You heard the word white, and you automatically assumed I was degrading your community, which I'm clearly assuming you're a part of since you're so offended.
Why
Even
is
though I
that? No,
said
I
absolutely
honestly
nothing
didn't.
bad about white people. That is an example of white fragility. Have you heard of that term, white fragility?
Yeah, it's a disgusting racist. You know, uh, it comes from the what's the social justice theory, or can't think
Social
of the name of the
justice.
theory.
Oh, do you not agree with social justice?
I agree in equality, not equity, and
Oh,
that's the
I
big
could, I
difference
couldn't, I couldn't,
between.
I couldn't disagree with you more on that one. Actually, I think equality is a scapegoat.
Well, those are the two uh, aims of Democrats and Republicans. So with Republicans, their goal is liberty and equality, and with Democrats, it's equity. And I don't agree with equity. I think we're all the same, and the pendulum has to stop swinging. The racist pendulum that you're
I'm
continuing.
sorry.
Because let's
What do
say
you believe equity
because
is?
in a culture now, it's okay to actually talk badly about white people, whereas maybe 50 years ago, it was okay to talk badly about black people. It's not good either way. It shouldn't be happening either way. But if you continue to perpetuate it and allow people to go on there talking badly about white people, it's really not cool. You're an American. Be an American.
I want to
Stand up
remind you,
for your
you're
country.
going down this rabbit hole, and mind you, um,
There's no rabbit
I
hole.
never
You're
spoke
just
badly
not
about white
answering
people.
anything.
I'm sorry.
You're
What did
not
you?
responding to anything
I
I
did.
said.
What do you want me to respond to? I think I've been responding to everything. What specifically do you want
Anything.
me to respond to? Anything? Okay.
Anything that I've
I
said.
literally responded to the last thing you said. I recall you saying that Republicans want equality and liberty, and Democrats only want equity. And then I literally responded with, well, one, I said, I think equality is a scapegoat. And then secondly, I asked you, what do you think equity is? And you actually never answered that.
Oh, equity is putting your thumb on the scale to make people equal. Whereas, uh,
No, that is
yeah,
a gross mischaracterization of what equity is.
outside.
Okay, let's do this. And I like to play. I'm not sure if you're new to my channel or not. I have no idea. But just in case you are, I like to play little mind games, right? So, not mind games. Excuse me. That's the wrong choice of words. I like to make people think. I can hand you all the
Okay.
information, right? But you've heard the saying, teach a man to fish and he has food for days versus giving him a fish. So I like to make you guys utilize the 10% of your brain capacity that everyone has. So
Right.
do you know, or to the best of your ability, can you tell me the difference between equality and equity? You can give me a direct definition. You can give me an example to explain the two, however you need to.
The difference is one is influenced and the other one is done. It happens naturally. We're already equal in the eyes of God, legally. That's equality. And equity is the system that bastardizes equality, and instead of creating equal opportunity, you're forcing to create equal outcome, and that's that you can't because people aren't equal. People, at least in terms of skills and ability. Only in terms of their humanity and under the law are they equal.
Okay.
And in a society that is superior, we let the best rise to the top, and we have the opportunity for people to earn their way up. They can either earn their way up or fail their way down, and that is fair. What's not fair is putting your thumb on the scale and dictating who wins and who doesn't.
Cool.
And if I'm a black person and I get a job, I can never know that I got it because I'm fully qualified as long as DEI and all this BS is there.
Interesting.
It shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, I'm going to respond to that. I'm going to respond to that in 1 second. Let me just do these thank yous. W's in the chat to Sean for the $2 super chat. Once again, MAGA. I'm Hector's pasty white friend. Hi, pasty white friend. Hope you're doing well. W's in the chat to Wesley for the $10 super chat. As a mayonnaise American, that's fucking hysterical. Are you Hellmans? Please don't be Hellmans. This guest needs to be quiet. He is making all of us look worse with every word he speaks. Oof. He's not white, by the way. I mean, he's not black, by the way. Excuse me. That's one of yours. W's in the chat to the One Mighty Pen for the $5 super chat. As Hector's white friend, he can't be racist because he has white friends. I put on this white hat and I expect people to treat me as the equitable, equal person I am. But people see my white hat and still think I can be racist. W's in the chat to you. W's in the chat to Block Daddy for the $1 cash app. Keep bashing. I haven't bashed anyone. I have not bashed anyone. I don't know where this is coming from. This is crazy to me. W's in the chat to Dean for the $2 Venmo. Caller is so... Is it really? Let the hate flow through me. Caller is so fragile he may turn to dust any minute. Tell him I'm white and I'm pretty sure you like me. Dean's one of my favorite people. In fact, hold on. Let me let up my white friends. W's in the chat to Dean. W's in the chat to Tara for the $5 Venmo. Hector, OMG, I'm white. Are we still friends? Tell caller to politely F off. I ain't never had an issue with you, Tara. You know something I don't? W's in the chat to you. Guys, the best way to support the platform is going to be the links in the bio. It's going to be Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Other ways to support me is also available in the link tree. And if you're over on the Tube side, you can send a super chat, super sticker, or become a member. To the rest of you freeloaders, double tap the screen, share out the live, send your daily heart me's, comment, subscribe, all those good things. So back to you, okay? You said... equity is like some enemy of equality and it destroys stuff, and a black person will never know if they ever got a job based off of the content of their character versus the color of their skin, basically. So, and you mentioned DEI specifically. So, do you know?
It pollutes the whole thing.
Did you know? I don't think you did know this. So I'm gonna ask you. Did you know that despite legislatively black people may be on the same playing field as white people, right? Legislatively on the books, Civil Rights Act, so on and so forth, that the enforcement of said laws is different from state to state.
I don't agree with that. I think the rate of crime is different.
Hold on. Okay. Do you not agree with the unfairness being different from state to state? Do you not agree with the fact that it's happening?
I don't think it's unfair. I think people commit crimes, and I think when you have a society of people that were very wrongly treated and stripped of all their culture, the thousands of years of generational learning that was passed down was ripped from them, and they were thrown into a new society, there's going to be some learning that takes place there. And, it's going to take working things out.
I don't know if all of that has anything to do with my question.
Is a black culture that wants to be separate and doesn't want to be American. I hear a black national anthem, and it breaks my heart that you don't feel like you can be an American.
I'm sorry. Do you think the black... Well then, okay. Sir... All right. I don't even know if I want to go down that road because I still haven't got my question answered. I didn't have my question answered, so I just want to repeat it again.
You got to unblock Chuck.
I want to repeat it again.
Whatever his name was, Charles or Chuck or whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about, nor did I block anyone. If someone got blocked, they were spamming or slurring in the chat.
You blocked Andrew Wilson. You were talking.
Oh, absolutely, yes. That man got a permaban. Is Andrew Wilson? Are you a fan of his?
And you're going to ban me too, but you shouldn't.
No, I'm not going to ban you. I'm not going to ban you too. You haven't been a raging piece of shit, and you have at least been attempting to answer my questions.
I don't think he was either. I think he was fair with you, and I don't think you were engaging with him.
No. Listen, hold on. My guy. Hey. If you're up here to defend Daddy Wilson, let me know, okay? I'm not up here to defend Daddy Wilson or go back and forth about debates I had with people previously. We were engaging in a
I've talked with you
conversation,
for 18
so I
minutes
do not know why
about
you brought
stuff.
him up.
I'm just bringing that up because that was lame.
Okay, I'm
You
sure
shouldn't
you
have.
think so. I'm
that
sure
was
you
your
think
that
so.
was your spotlight,
Dude, if
man.
I
You were in the
unblock Andrew
spotlight
Wilson,
and you
it's to
ran.
bring him in and block him again. And I'll explain why in a
Don't
second.
do that.
So,
Don't do that.
again,
You're a
you
mouse.
never answered my question about knowing that there is an unequal justice from state to state or enforcement of laws on black people.
Yeah,
Like, you never addressed that.
I told you I don't agree with. I don't agree with that. I think they commit more crimes because
Okay,
they've
so
been stripped
so
of their
hey,
culture.
you know what's the crazy thing about your point that you just made there? It's wrong. Even if I was to grant you that black people commit more crimes, that still doesn't change my point. Because we know all groups of people commit crimes. So a black person can commit the same crime a white person can, to some degree, even a lesser aggression, and they can get more time than the white person. So black people, in your ideology, committing more crimes doesn't change the fact that we would get harsher sentences for even lesser crimes than our white counterparts. And that's heavily, in general in the United States, but especially state to state. You still haven't addressed that point yet.
You got to factor the whole life of a person. That's how these judgments go. It doesn't necessarily take into account that one specific crime, but it takes into account did previous
yes, it actually quite literally does.
Did they take effect?
A lot of first-time offenses get the worst of the worst, and in some degrees, the judges will cite making an example of the individual.
Well, there's no doubt that I would say probably I would guess like 2 to 3% of people are like unjustly should not be in prison. But most of the people, they deserve.
Does Andrew Wilson have a video of me or something on his profile? Because I've just been getting a bunch of you guys for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Anyway, he does.
Yeah. You and I.
I hope you put the whole clip. We have spoken before. How'd that last conversation go?
I don't recall. I don't know. It's
What a shame.
I don't have a scorecard. I don't consider anything a win or a loss. I just try to maybe get a point across.
Yeah, I didn't ask about a scorecard, but that's cool. So once again, systemic racism isn't limited to legislative bodies. Systemic racism is the culture of the United States, I would argue, and we can see so even in the most recent cases, where individuals who were not harming anyone else, where individuals for self-defense in a stand-your-ground state was given very aggressive penalties in red states such as here, the one I live in, Texas. And then you mentioned DEI and equality being this system of putting the thumb on progress and uplifting certain people just because of race. But the reason why you said that is because you do not know what DEI is, or DEIA. So what if I told you that DEIA is nothing like what you think it is? In fact, it is something that's meant to support those marginalized communities, not based off of their skin color or solely based off their skin color, but they would still have to qualify for every single job or position that they would have had more access to under DEIA implementations.
I understand the qualification aspect of it, but it's the top of the funnel piece that bothers me.
You understand the qualification aspect? Is that you saying that you understand the DEIA policies in no way, shape, or form bypass that person's qualifications for positions and promotions?
I do. And then when you add, but then you'd have to look at two people equally. So let's say they've got two skills. Then that one person, because of their skin, instead of that company having to dig deeper and learn more about that person, they can simply say on the service, "Oh, we tick a box. We'll just take the black person," and that's an injustice. It's a very, compared to slavery, it's a very minor injustice. But we've righted the wrongs, and this is actually systemic racism.
Sir, none of
affirmative
that
action
is DEIA.
racism.
You do understand that, right?
Well, diversity, equity, inclusion, to
And
my
accessibility.
understanding, is a corporate and government initiative that is, I think, has been shut down at least through the federal government, through Donald Trump. But through corporations, it's an initiative to create equity, which is essentially taking from white people and giving to black people to make up for the wrongs of slavery.
Okay. I'm going to have to explain equity to you in a moment. W's in the chat to Melissa for the $5 super chat. This is for whatever me being, this is for whatever, me being Southern and white renders utter bullshit. I got you, Melissa. Thank you so much. W's in chat to Melissa once again for the $2 about this dude's argument. I got you. W's in the chat to Wesley for the $2 super chat. All I hear from the caller is wah wah wah. Hey man, we're having a more civil and respectful conversation than we did with Andrew Wilson. That part's for sure. W's in the chat to Sean for the $2 super chat. Veterans are DEIA hires. Ignorant toad. Yeah, we're going to explain that in a second. A lot of people do not know what it is, and I think it's important that we share that around. W's in the chat to Melanie for the $5 Venmo. Caller definitely slurs. Wouldn't surprise me. W's in the chat to Manda for the $1 Venmo. To the caller, boy, damn, us white people can't experience racism. You're a whiny, weak ballsack. I'm just a messenger, caller. I just want to let you know I'm just a messenger. I haven't been spreading any white hate.
You're all right.
I'm just a messenger. I guarantee two things.
Just your message,
I can
caller.
lift
I
more
just
than
assume
you,
that
and
this
you're
is
going to clutch your pearls and whine when you hear that we can't experience racism. Read, motherfucker. Hector, thank you. Love you. Love you too, Manda. I'm just a messenger. W's in the chat to Donald once again for the $10 PayPal. All the clear racism coming from this caller. Yet he said you talk shit about white people. Get the fuck out of here. Do we got to go back and play the initial couple minutes? Because I'm a little confused. W's in the chat to Jotson Tittles for the $2 Venmo. For the caller, I'm curious. When exactly did the wrong treatment of black people end? That's a good question. I think I'll ask it. 1965. Sure, buddy. Debbie's in the chat to Sheila for the $20 cash app. Will Greg Abbott pardon Kay Anthony, for example? I'm assuming you're joking, Sheila. Of course you are. Thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate you. Debbie's in the chat to Kieran for the $1.11. Caller's favorite hat is a pointy white hood, and I bet his favorite way to spend time with the wreath he calls a family tree is by getting warm by a burning cross. I'm just the messenger. W's in the chat to y'all. I do think before we get into the difference between equality and equity, I do think this is a fantastic question by Johnson Taylor. No, technically you answered it. You said 1965 is when the mistreatment of black people happened. Ended, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, civil rights. Equal protection. I think was a step in the right direction. I think they initially.
Hold on. You said equal rights. So the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Do you believe that stopped racism?
I don't think it stopped individuals from being racist, but I think it stopped it in terms of the system, the actual system of government, and how the process works. It did stop it. It didn't take it out of some people's hearts, and in fact, it goes the other way too.
Well, here's the thing. You said the 1964 Civil Rights Act, or 1965, because that would also be the Voting Rights Act, which Donald Trump is gutting, by the way. So if you're going to cite these pieces of legislation to say things got better for black people, then look no further than the President of the United States for quite literally challenging them and championing individuals like Charlie Kirk, who openly said things like, I think the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. But I digress. If you're going to cite these things,
but I think it has a time limit.
If you're
when they made that, it was like 25 years.
So you limited racism to the legislative branch, and you believe it's something we can legislate out, or better yet, admittedly, you said, well, no, I don't think it stopped individual racism. So before laws and government systems existed, was racism there?
Before laws, and you mean before the United
Before
States?
the government existed, was there racism?
United States government.
But sure. Because racism isn't just a uniquely United States thing. But sure, you want to focus on the United States? Before the United States government existed, was there racism?
I think it probably in the way that we would define it today, yes. I think racism comes from a biological response to not
There is nothing biological about racism.
Well, let me explain one thing. So if you have one tribe who looks one way and another tribe that looks another way, generally, and this happened with the Native Americans when the English crossed over.
Tribalism isn't racism.
They brought a lot of
Nor
diseases
is that
over and
biological.
Well, okay. I don't know. Is it evolutionary, behavioral? I think it's inherent. I think it's baked into humans, and I think it takes higher learning and knowing God and being.
Can a baby be racist?
Can who?
Can a baby be racist?
I don't think so, no.
Why not?
But
It's biological, according to you. It's baked into us.
well, I think it is, but it can be reinforced. Or, like it depends on how you nurture it.
Okay,
We're in a
so
culture
if
now
if
where
it
it's taught
is, then a baby
and
can
reinforced.
be racist, according to you.
Like if you,
If it's
it's
biological,
funny.
babies are racist.
Some babies can be. It's funny. When I was in preschool, I didn't want to hang out with a
Oh
kid
my
because he was too white.
This is
Because
painful.
he had really blonde hair, and I don't remember this, but his skin was very ghost white, and I was like 4 years old. I remember telling I don't remember, but my mom was telling me that I didn't want to hang out with him because he was too white. So I think it's I don't know if it's just
So, you know
kids
what's
or
crazy about that really bad example you just gave? When you told your parent you didn't want to hang out with them because they were too white, you weren't talking
I was
about
4.
white in the context of how we understand it in a racial lens of a
Right,
demographic of people with anything that would be associated with that negatively or positively. So you can't, whatever you were
right.
trying to do there and associated with racism was really, really bad. I want to stick to your
Well, I
point of
think
it
that's the
being
level,
biological
but
because
I think
first
that
off,
is
you're grossly wrong
that's
because
the level of
babies can't be
racism that I'm
racist.
talking about.
It's
Like I
when
didn't
you're
understand that
born
Asian
and then
people
you're
love white.
being raised with a certain group of people who view things a certain way, who feed you certain pieces of information. You watch certain things of media and you go as far as even believe certain ideologies that I would very much argue are political and right leaning. That's when racism is festered. That's when it's created. It is taught. Racism is not biological in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I think people of different tribes have different pathogens,
Tribalism is
and
not
those pathogens
racism.
spread. And it's a survival mechanism. I think if we acknowledge it and ignore it, because we're in a different world now, where we understand that we're all in one country and we all share the same germs now. We
Okay,
don't need to
again, you
actually worry
speaking
about
of
that.
people who didn't have the wherewithal, knowledge, intelligence, social structures that we did, still isn't an indicator of tribalism being racist. Because again, they're two vastly different things.
About humans, I'm just talking about
Blue, I think
human
you
nature.
I know you wanted to say something, Blue. So go ahead, and then I want to get back to equity and equality.
Yeah, I was it, it's been a lot. This has been a lot. Um Sir caller, are you aware that in half of the country it is still legal to discriminate against black people based on their hair?
Um, no, I mean, in what way? Is that someone calling me or someone calling you?
That's me.
Uh,
Um,
so have you
no,
I've
in what way? I haven't heard that before.
so
But I mean,
in
but that's true for
workplaces,
white
in
people
school,
too.
okay. Hmm.
I have to dress a certain way when I go to work. You have to shave. You have to cut your hair a certain way. It's not like
I don't have to.
everyone's
So
everyone's exempt from these rules. We all have hair growing on our neck that we got to shave. Like whatever.
there's nothing in what
But it's not
Cherry, I'm
racist.
gonna drop you down.
so
You can come back up once we're done with the guests for the PSA we talked about.
you believe that it's legal that that's somehow or another your job can discriminate against you based on how you grow your beard?
Well, I think certain places require kind of like the New York Yankees. I don't know if they do it anymore, but for a while they required all the people to shave.
Thank you, Erica, for the You're Amazing
And you
Bear.
get police officers, for
If they
example,
have like
or the
specific
Navy.
if they have like specific codes within their like within the rules of the job, then sure you have to adhere to those. But what I'm
Yeah, you
talking
sign a
about is
contract.
there when there is no code that is preventing someone from wearing an afro per se, and yet
Mm.
or from wearing braids, and they are told that they have to get their hair cut or they need to that their braids are too long to participate in the thing that they want to participate in. This has happened to high school students who were on wrestling teams because they wore braids that were shorter than their white counterparts, like flowing hair. They were forced to cut their hair like on the court. and that was perfectly legal for them to do.
Interesting. That sounds very odd and degrading.
Yeah. Did you know,
Yeah.
caller, that black people and white people grow hair differently?
Generally, yeah.
Did you know that shaving impacts black people and white people differently?
Yes and no. I mean, some people, I get bumps on my neck personally. It's not, or
Yeah, as a
it's-
collective, again, because you would be anecdotal. As a collective, shaving is different for black people and white people to the degree to where this is scientifically documented, right? Right? Black people used to get a particular exemption in the military from shaving, or at least shaving down to a certain length. Do you think that's racist?
what allowing you to do it or not allowing you to do it?
Allowing black people to
Forgo shaving.
forgo shaving because of the
Forgo
way that
shaving.
it impacted them compared to white people. Do you think that was racist?
No, because I think there's creams and moisturizers that you can use. Because I see plenty really well shaven black men around.
I don't think you're
see.
understanding. I don't think you're understanding my question. Let me
Is it religious?
So once again,
I mean, we have rules against
it
like
had nothing to do
religious
with religion and
discrimination,
everything to
but
do with that person, right? That black person.
I'm
Black
trying to
people and
understand what
white
you're
people.
saying. So you're saying a person with a
Shaving
beard
they're affected
who's black.
differently. White people on average
How so?
are able to shave down to the skin with like just a regular razor blade and some cream, and on average they will not experience the same breakouts, hyperpigmentation. I forgot the other word I'm blanking on right now. Grown, excuse me, so on and so forth, that white people would. So then they were allowed an exemption in the military. Do you think it is racist to give black people said exemption?
Pseudofolliculitis.
Thank you so much. That's awkward.
Racist to give them an
Pseudofolliculitis barbae is
exemption.
because of the way that our hair grows out of our faces.
You're not a
They
different
curl
species.
they curl in a different way than white people's generally.
But that doesn't. I don't think that
And-
makes a difference to whether or not you should shave.
It
I
curls
think
in a
just because
different
the hair is
way.
different doesn't mean you get a nice
You're
haircut.
not listening. They curl in a different way that causes them to grow back into the skin when they are when it's shaved. It is a literal biological
wax
difference. No, it doesn't matter
Right?
how you shave it. It doesn't matter what cream you put on it. It doesn't matter any of that. The hairs just grow that way.
Which leads to more breakouts.
Yeah, I don't know.
more
What's your
ingrowns.
evidence for that?
What's our evidence for that?
Look up pseudofolliculitis.
Yeah, like is that a known thing? I mean that's news to me.
That's
I'm
why
almost 40 years
why
old.
black people. That's why black men got the exemption in the military, was because of pseudofolliculitis barbae.
Can I explain this? Because
Okay.
I'm an esthetician.
Yes, please go ahead.
So basically, what happens is black people tend to have thicker, coarser, curlier hair. White people don't tend to have that. Even when they have very curly hair, it's not very dense. When you cannot wax that, because if you wax that, you make the condition worse. You literally cause hyperpigmentation, toughness of the skin. You can cause an infection to the face, even if you wax it or shave it. That's why most black men who tend to shave have to go to dermatologists to actually get it treated. The only way to cure it is to allow the hair to grow back in. You can trim it, but you do not want to pull it from the root because you make the issue even worse. Black hair and white hair are two different things. This is why I know you're very ignorant on the conversation that you're having right now. We're not different species, but we are biologically different because our ancestry is very different from one another. Don't make comments like that unless you know how it really works.
The coil structure.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean,
You've seen
that's-
white
that's
people
new
with curly
information for
hair,
me.
I'm
That's
sure, and you see
interesting.
black people with curly hair, and we'll both grow, but they'll grow at different rates. And then, like Blue already mentioned, Luxie already mentioned, it's thicker, it can be coarser. So when it's growing, it grows on that angle, and that's what leads to the breakouts on your face.
Makes sense. So you're saying, So what I'm reading here, and I'm kind of typing it in as I'm talking to you, it says, yes, they're allowed to grow facial hair, but only through a documented shaving waiver. So you got to go through a process. Probably have to get
That's
medically.
been taken away.
That's
That has been taken away.
That's what I mentioned. Yes, black people were able to get that waiver. My question to you was, do you think that's racist?
So that's gone now.
Because you're a white guy. Let's say you're a white guy. You're in the military. You have to shave, and you see your black friend walking around. He has that waiver. Would you say it was racist then?
God bless
In that
you.
case,
Thank you, Jordan.
no, I don't think it is.
Why wouldn't it be racist?
Because it's something that has nothing to do with merit. It has to do with a physical characteristic of aesthetics that I think is completely irrelevant and immaterial to the effectiveness of a soldier. And so facial hair, cool. I understand they're going, and I think having it within certain bounds is appropriate. And I think they've adopted that. I thought there were some soldiers that could wear turbans and right? Like I thought that this was
Our military right now is racist. They are doing everything to make sure that black people do not have what they need to stay in service, and also women. They are starting to put things on the books where women and people of color are now having to leave, and they are now being called dishonorable because they realistically cannot stay in the military. Do you know how many black men have had a dishonorary exit of the military because of the shaving being rolled back? Because they literally cannot stay in service. It's a literal risk to your health.
Interesting, right? Because you can get an infection from the.
Yes, so now they are being pushed out of the military and they're not getting honorary discharge because of it.
Here, I got it for you. The Army is preparing to roll out a new policy and the rollout's already been done because this was June of last year, that could lead to shoulders diagnosed with a chronic skin condition that causes painful razor bumps and scarring to be kicked out of the service, an issue that disproportionately affects black men. The new guidance, expected to take effect in the coming weeks, would bar permanent shaving waivers and require medical personnel to craft, formal treatment plans for affected troops, according to multiple service officials and internal documents reviewed by military. Soldiers in need of prolonged waivers may be directed to get laser treatments. Those who need shaving exemptions for more than 12 months over a 2-year period could be kicked out of the Army. Units across the force will also be mandated to rebrief personnel on grooming standards within 90 days of the policy's rollout. So
racism at its finest.
You and I just agreed that it makes sense if our hair grows, I won't say grow differently, but curls differently. It's thicker. That the makeup of it is different. Because we do have to be careful the way we're using the word biological here.
If you have a medical aversion, anyone, whether that's white or black, if you have a medical aversion to having the facial hair, then you should.
Again, this issue specifically that we're talking about disproportionately affects black people, which is why the rule has been disproportionately fucking up black people. You and I just agreed that it makes sense to let black people get that waiver due to the way our hair grows. The military, under Pete Hegseth and the other Army officials and appointees of the Trump administration, disagree with you. They think it shouldn't be deserving. They don't think we deserve it. They don't think our issue is that serious. We can get all this thing tested. In fact, like I just read it, just go get laser surgery. I guess the military would have to be paying for that. Or they're going to put you on this 12-month plan and ask you to try this cream and this product and that product. The thing that I find super funny about that one specifically is that I remember a big ruckus coming about in regards to a certain jab people had to put in their system. And when people put said jab in their system, there was all getting a ruck about it because we don't know what that is and the government shouldn't tell us what we put in our bodies. But apparently they can tell black men what programs they have to use, what creams they should apply to their face in order to stay in the military. And that has absolutely nothing to do with their merit.
Can I say one more thing about that laser treatment?
Yes.
The laser treatment for hair removal is horrible for black people because it literally cannot dictate the difference between your pigment and the hair. So they will literally be burning you during this treatment. It's not a safe treatment for black people.
I understand why they would want to get rid of women out of the military, but I don't understand why they'd want to get black men out of the military. I don't see how that benefits.
Because the military has been a way that empowers black people to come out of poverty. to advance in society. On top of that, it allowed Black people to be able to purchase homes, go to college, certain things that they didn't want our demographic to do. So once you take that away, sorry.
Lux, I think that whole statement was wild, because he said he can understand why they want to get women out of the military.
Yeah, I was.
You got a point there. That was crazy.
1 second. W's in the chat to Sean for the $5 super chat. Hey Sparky, you like to talk military. How about you enlist and find out firsthand? There are women rangers who would stretch you. Stretch you is crazy, but you're right. W's in the chat to, Raphael for the $5 Venmo. Makes me, this guy is insufferable. Makes me think inherently white racists exist. It does. W's in the chat to Dean for the $1 Venmo. Hexeth has been called in front of Congress to explain taking every Black officer and every woman off the military's promotion list. 6,000%.
Yeah.
I talked about that a couple weeks ago, where the ones who were stopped from getting promotions were individuals who were Black and brown and women. And they had, again, the merit, the qualifications. He literally just paused it because of their race in an attempt to say they're only there because of said race, which has never been substantiated in their qualifications, by the way, because qualifications would then eliminate this belief that they were there because of the color of their skin. Anyways.
Well, it just pollutes then why even have it in the first place? If they're qualified, then why have it there?
Oh, what? I'll tell you why. Because I think this is the part you've been really running from for some reason. You cited the 1964 Civil Rights Act and the 1965 Voting Rights Act as the government's attempt to correct the wrongs of history, right? You acknowledge the wrongs that's taken place in history. The disconnect is you seem to be under the belief that those very same systems are not at play now, just under different names. In some cases, we can argue because of the restrictions of legislation, of the law, it is hard to enforce. Let me give you an example. Do you know what a disparate impact rule is?
No, go ahead.
Disparate impact rule is associated with allowing institutions, corporations, and so on and so forth, the ability to prove that their policies, their initiatives are not inherently discriminatory towards Black people. And what happened was, because intentional racism is really hard to prove in many of these cases because of the language, then this would just show, hey, if this negatively impacts this group of people and this is being expressed to you, you need to do something about it. The Trump administration has been tearing that apart. In fact, literally as recently as yesterday, we just had a ruling change with the EEOC where they're doing away with their rules. So now you have to prove racism in order for it to be taken seriously in the government or by the EEOC. The problem with that is, and let me give you an example. Hey, Blue, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Hey, man, I was thinking about bringing you lunch tomorrow. What do you think?
Sure, sounds good.
Sounds good. So, listen, man, my wife makes this amazing watermelon juice, extreme watermelon juice. You look like the kind of guy who loves watermelons. And then we're going to go ahead and bring some lamb. I really like lamb. Lamb's amazing. But you seem like a fried chicken guy. I'm going to make the outside extra crispy for you.
Okay. Yeah.
While I'm at it, man, how do you feel about Jordans?
Was he trying to like?
I think I'm gonna bring you some Jordans. I'm a New Balance guy myself, and you know. Listen, you strike me as a guy who likes to get down on the weekends. You strike me as a guy that get downs on the weekends. I'm gonna bring you a big booty hole and some Hennessy. Congratulations.
Oh, man.
So
yeah, not
you get the point. You get the point.
Not reading the room. Yeah.
You know that's how racism works, though, right? Like, racism is not openly out there saying we're racist. That's how they do it.
So I try not to attribute malice where I can attribute stupidity or ignorance.
That's not malice and that's not ignorance. That's how racism works. Maybe it isn't.
I mean, it's at least it's subvert now versus when it was. If that's true, which I don't even know if it is, but if it was, that being because you could look at people in a certain way and you could see two different things depending on your mindset. And I feel like we teach as a society young Black people that the world's out to get them, and
Sir, I'm gonna back you up. You can't speak on what the Black experience is and what we're taught as a white man. Sorry, I'm not gonna let you do that.
I'm an American.
No,
I've
I don't
been
care
here
who
for
you are. You're
39
not going to
years.
American
speak on
going
the
as
black
far as to try and speak on the
experience.
black experience because the
I've been
black experience,
I've been
regardless
watching
of
you all.
citizenship, is still
You
different from
don't
any of
know
that.
what we talk about in our groups, in our homes, and in our communities. You're
Yes,
assuming
I do.
that's what we talk. So say, I
Yes, I do.
assume. No, you don't,
Excuse me, what do you
sir.
mean, yes, you
No,
do?
yes, I do. You guys have the same YouTube channels. Where this is a free
Sir,
Okay.
we
country.
don't
Y'all
have
share
those
media,
discussions on YouTube.
You think that
and you
YouTube
guys
is
want
a
to have.
you think that
She
YouTube
said
is
black
a reflect
household. You're talking about
yeah.
YouTube. Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. I want to go back to my example. I want to go back to my example because I was driving a point home. So you just heard all the things I said to Blue. You probably got some hints of racial bias, negative racial intent there, right?
I don't know. No,
No,
I feel like
you didn't
I feel like she's hurt.
interrupt me. You didn't sigh. You didn't go, oh yeah, I see your point. You didn't do any of that.
No, I feel like she's hurt, and I think she carries
No,
a hurt
no,
that she
I'm not hurt.
no. Not talking about her. The example I just did with Blue. I don't know why you're hyper
me.
focusing on that. The example I just gave with
Oh, I
Blue
thought that was her
with
name.
fried chicken.
I thought that.
No, Blue is the man.
Oh, that sounds.
Anyway, don't
without being
don't
there,
even.
it sounds like
Fried
they're trying
chicken,
to get you upset.
Jordans, Hennessy, so on and so forth. Sounds like they're trying to get you upset. And
And it
why
sounds
would
like they're
those
living
why would
rent-free in your
those
head right
why
now.
would those things get a black person upset?
You can walk into the
Well,
point and
because you're insecure about
I'm
who
sorry.
you are.
What?
Wait. Okay.
What does
Hold
insecurity
on.
have to
Hold
do with
on.
that?
Hold on. Okay.
That's why it
So-
upsets you.
Okay.
Everyone loves fried
Insecurity.
chicken. What's wrong with
Got
fried
you.
chicken?
Let's go with that. You're grossly missing the. You know what? Let's do this. So if someone comes up on here and calls me a finger licking, cotton picking, buck broking nigger,
Wow.
am I insecure for saying, "Wow, dude, that's fucking gross. What's wrong with you"? Is that
No, you're not.
insecurity?
But that's not.
Why is
No.
that not insecurity?
No, you're not.
Remember that thing I told you at the beginning of
Because-
this live? I'm going to try to get you to use your brain. Why isn't that insecure?
Because it's verifiable. It's right in front of you, and it's overt. It's
Oh,
something that you can.
got it. Overt. Do you think racism is only overt? Is there no such thing as covert racism?
I don't think so. I don't think. I think
You think there's-
actually
I'm sorry,
covert
you think there's
racism.
no such thing as
actually
covert
black
racism?
favoritism. It goes both ways. It goes against white people, and it goes against black people.
How does
It's in the
covert
heart.
racism against black people go against white people?
Well, for example, if I have two candidates with equal qualifications and one of them's black, and I decide to go with the one that's black because I'm black and I want more black people in the office, then that's racist.
That still makes no sense, sir. That doesn't
Why not?
that doesn't identify how that harms white people.
Yeah.
It harms white people
I'm
because
just
they
going
don't
to
get the
answer the
job.
question. He's going back to the bullshit on DIA. I'm just going to answer the question for you because you're struggling heavily. Covert racism exists. One of the biggest disservices that we have done in this country, specifically to your demographic of people, is allowed things like the Civil Rights Act or the Voting Rights Act to make you guys think that racism is gone. Racism comes in all different forms. And just because someone isn't wearing a white hood and calling you the hard R doesn't mean that person doesn't have racism. It can be intentional. It can be unintentional. It can be associated with love. It can be associated with hate. It can be heavy. It can
long
be
as you keep
light.
talking about it, it's gonna be
Racism
real.
is still gross and racist.
It's like your religion.
So
Your
the
racism is
reason
like
why
your
you were
religion.
able to acknowledge that gross example I just gave as being clearly racist is because those are the ones that you were told is an example of racism. Where you were done a disservice is that people, because of legislation, because of those laws that you were talking about, if you are too blatant, because you acknowledge those laws exist, if you are too blatant, what happens when you say those things? You would get fined, you would get fired, you would have some consequences. I would argue not really, but I guess at least in some jobs, you would have some consequences. So racism took a new form, but make no mistake, it's still very much blatant if you know how to identify it. You've shown the entire time you've been on this panel that you don't understand racism. And that is why all of these things are going over your head, because you've been desensitized to it, which makes sense because whether you want to agree with it or not, you are part of the demographic who does not understand racism, is incapable of explaining racism, and quite frankly can't experience it.
I understand why you think racism's there. I understand
You've
why
shown
you
it
think
this
that,
entire
but
conversation.
I don't think the solution is to continue to focus and perpetuate on it, because it becomes.
Sir,
more
I didn't
and more
focus on
real every
racism. Hold on. You know what? If you want to go there, this entire conversation, from the racial lens that we've been approaching from, started because of you.
Oh.
I put up a sticker and I said, Trump supporters regret your vote. I mentioned that Fox News is trying to use left-wing talking points, or talking points that the left uses, when they said that the Republican Party or the Democratic Party is the party of the rich, white, and affluent. That's what I said.
Right, and then
you
said,
called into the
right,
live and you said, quote, I called in because you were talking shit about white people. You heard a black person say white and you assumed I was talking mess. You didn't understand my argument or anything else. You just got offended. I mentioned the white fragility, and here we are. This conversation is about race because you brought race into the mix. I've been trying to talk to Trump supporters for the last hour and 15 minutes about the economy, about immigration, about tax reform, about civil rights enforcement, about voting rights. You made this conversation racial. You do not get to put that on me.
Can I ask a quick question?
Well, at least if you can take anything from this conversation, just don't vote for Democrats, because 85% of black people vote for Democrats, and all you do is
please
bitch
stop
and
telling black
complain
people
about
what
how
to do.
bad things are. Well, I mean, take it for what it's worth.
Sir, I need you to understand that it's been bad for black people, whether it's Democratic or Republican. We just have less harm under Democratic Party.
Freed you guys.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Somebody
You're
said
confusing.
that.
Hold on. You're confusing Dixiecrats for Democrats. Those are two separate parties. I need y'all to stop saying that. Dixiecrats were not the Democrats during that time. Educate yourself before you bring that up. That's very ignorant to say. That's why black people understand a lot of things about how politics works, because we understand. There's a difference.
Thank you, Neely. Thank you.
If you understand, then why do you give 85% of your vote to Democrats?
Sir, the reason why we do it is because we can read policies. And the policies that Republicans are putting out are very harmful to people of color demographics. We're not stupid. Y'all think we're voting. Hold on. You think we're voting because they say things. Black people do not vote off of what people say, because we're not stupid. We have life experience. We go back and we do the research. We go back to see how you vote. We go back to see what you believe in. When we look at the Republican Party, a lot of the people they put on the forefront, when you read the policies that they want to put forth, they literally are harmful to people of black people, LGBTQ. We see the harm, right? Because we do our research. Y'all think we vote off of feelings like y'all do. You came up here on your feelings, sir. You think racism is a feeling.
Harmful.
Hey,
yes, they.
They're not harmful.
Tell me one good.
Give
me one good policy that's not harmful. Give me one policy.
God bless you.
One policy.
Thank you, Stacey.
No tax on tips. No tax on overtime.
That's not a policy, sir. That's not a policy. You're still being taxed on your tips.
Really,
that's how I know you didn't read that policy.
Really quickly.
It is. You get a tax return on your
so
tips.
guys,
No, you don't,
I'm very
sir.
desensitized today. I'm
Whether you
not
like it
gonna
or
lie.
not, it's a good thing.
Hence why I've engaged in this conversation so long. But I do want to let the chat know this is a pretty fucking gross conversation. This guy is clearly fucking ignorant and not really willing to learn. I feel like we were getting somewhere, and then he kind of reverted back to the chip upstairs in the brain. Please make sure we're taking care of Luxie and Blue. Please, and Erica, now that she's up here. She just got here, but she's fucking Erica. Don't do that. Please make sure we take care of these fantastic black people sharing all this education in all the ways that they can, including the links in the bio. Erica, go ahead. Then I got to do the thing.
Okay, so I have a quick question. So my whole thing for you is that you mentioned that racism pretty much works both ways and that it somehow impacts white people. I want to know how, what type of racism, give us an example. What racism do white people experience? Make it quick.
Well, I think
You're not
on a
doing it quick
regular
enough because
basis,
guess what?
you hear people
It's
like
not quick
yourself
enough.
free to laugh and joke about black people. It's an open part of society that whitey is weak. White man can't jump, right?
Oh
There's a
my
whole-
God. What?
there's a
Okay,
whole
so with that
subculture
being said,
around
okay, so with that being
degrading
said,
white.
how does that impact the material conditions? God damn it, Hector.
I'm just saying it's a cultural norm, right?
No, how does that
For
impact the material conditions?
See, right?
You like dude, Baldwin?
I've never seen it.
Really? Dude, the third one's coming
I
out in
heard it's
December.
good. I've heard it's really good, but I have to watch both of them.
They're both free on HBO now. YouTube. And stop being fucking racist. W's in the chat to Kitty Cap for the $75 Venmo. Shut all the way up and then some. What the fuck? Kitty Cap. W's in the chat to Gucci for the 10. The audacity of a racist white man. W's in the chat to Sean for the $5 super chat. Does he believe that Al Green was treated the same as Boebert and Green? Ha! That
Oof.
part. That fucking part. That fucking part. W's in the chat to Melissa for the $2 super chat. Make that change tonight, brother. We got healthcare. I will, Melissa. I appreciate you. W's in the chat to you. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. And I will apologize to anyone here, especially to black people here, because I'm dead inside today. He was saying some gross shit, but I'm just dead inside today. The point that I wanted to make, one second. The point I wanted to make is just pointing out his hypocrisy. That's it. That's it. See, because here's what I learned in that call. I learned they understand how wrong they are. Perfect example. He had no idea black hair grew differently, that shaving for us was different from white people. Which, to be clear, we do need to clear up a certain thing that was said about biology in a second. But he had no idea it was different for us. None. And then the exemption made sense. I brought it back to him in his lens. White people then getting pissy. One second. Call you on the line. Hold for one moment. I'm going to say some thank yous and I'll get to you. Thank you so much. I twisted back around. White guy. Sees black dude. Not able to shave. I want to grow my beard. Why the fuck does that black person get a privilege that I don't? But he can't fall back on that argument now because he now stands the science. They understand this shit. They really do. They just choose to ignore, especially on a bigger scale, on a national scale, on the government whose job is to protect its citizens scale. Erica, go ahead.
Okay, so just a few different things. Like black people and white people are not different biologically, and the reason why I say that is because race is a made-up construct. So we can't attribute the words black and white when we talk about genetic makeup or anything of that nature, because it leads credence to the white supremacist myth, the lie, phrenology, that race is in fact biological when it's not. So we have to be very, very clear when we say stuff like that. And I understand in the heat of the moment that things do happen. So I did want to address that. Additionally, another thing is that calling a white person a name does not impact the material conditions of their life. All right. So we have to understand that part too. Like, okay, you got called a cracker. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Were your feelings hurt? Did someone hurt the fifis in your tum-tum? Okay, we get it. You got called a lice lizard. Oh my gosh. Now you're just having a bad day. Like, let's be very, very for real and honest about these things, because when a white person, let's be very clear. When the word nigger comes from the lips of a white person, it is violent, it is harmful, it's destructive, and it is very intentional. All right. We have historical evidence, we have context, and we even have it in present day where when the N-word is used from a white person to a black person, it is meant harm. It is not meant as a nicety. It is not just a word. It is a very powerful tool that they have used, a very powerful weapon that they have used for centuries to unalive black people. All right. It is a weapon when it comes from the mouth of a white person. So please stop being upset that you can't do something. All right. My whole thing with white people at this present day and time is that you all have had all of the privileges that this system has afforded you. And you're simply like, oh my God, what can I do next? Maybe we should try out oppression. It's not fucking fun. Stop it. It's not fun. Okay. So with that being said, it does not impact the material conditions of your life. 'Tis it, 'tis all.
6,000%. And if you like to say 6,000% in different ways, you can go to hectorshops.com with 2 R's and get yourself one of the many lines that puts it on there. Also, fucking Debbie Erica. Oh, she dropped? Okay. Luxie, I want to give you final thoughts before I drop you down. And please try to do it within a minute or less. Not trying to restrict you, but we do have a call.
No, you're okay. I know you want to move on. That was crazy. I love the hat. It means that you like white people. I'm glad you chose white. Good God. I like that. I like that. Every time they want to call you a racist, tell them your hat is white. But with that, I'm going to drop.
I appreciate you coming up. W's to Luxie. W's to Luxie. He was really trying to argue with esthetician. Wow, I'm going to butcher that word. Blue, I want to give you final thoughts, but we haven't hung out in a while. You can stick around for a bit. All right, caller. I apologize. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes, I did.
And do you regret your vote?
No.
Got you. Why is that?
Can I before I answer that, can I address what the last something about the material conditions in the Black community, real quick?
1 second. Yes, you can, but 1 second. Cherry, I sent you an invite because I want you to do the PSA for the thing, and then I'll drop you back down.
Hello, Hector. How are you? Long time no see.
Hold for 1 second, call. I'm so sorry.
Hey, everybody. I'm just coming up here. I had asked Hector earlier. Always nice to see you. I hope you're feeling better. I am part of the Misfit Formation, and we are actually raising money for this Pride Month for, I personally selected the group that we're raising money for. Our goal is $10,000. If you do not know them, they are on TikTok as the Queer Trans Project. Amazing group of people. They started from like a 2-bedroom apartment in Florida with $500 and basically started up this whole organization that they have, that they do the Build a Queer Kit, that do actual like binders, gender affirming essentials for trans and non-binary people, etc. No charge, discreet shipping, delivered nationwide for everybody. They provide as well, they do if you need emergency travel or relocation support, they actually cover flights for people that need that, etc. They provide BIPOC and disabled individuals as well with priority early access to all the kit distributions. Just ensuring support reaches, the most marginalized within our community first, etc. They are an amazing group, Black-led, trans-led, because they believe in authentic representation, etc. So we are trying to raise $10,000 for them. Last month, we actually raised money for the NIJC. We raised $25,000. That helps immigrants get lawyers, help their families, etc. This month, we are doing the Queer Trans Project. So if you do not know who they are, check them out on TikTok, as well as our group is writing letters to go into the Build a Queer kits because they actually take personalized letters from people, anonymous, and put them in the kits. So if anybody is interested to do that as well, message me, DM me, etc. We're actually doing that, a bunch of us within the group as well.
And please make sure that you post that information in the Helping Hectic section of the Discord.
I will, but it's a fantastic group. I picked them out, found them, etc. Thought they were great. So if you guys want to go to their page, go ahead. It's also in the link in my bio, as well as in my pin page. I will go post in Helping Hectics as well. Thank you guys so much. I love you to death.
Love you, Cherry. Appreciate you coming up.
Feel better, honey.
Oh, I'm just sniffling now. All right, you wanted to comment on behalf of what Erica said earlier, right?
Yeah. You kind of remind me of Lamar Odom, to be honest.
Is that the what is he, a football player?
NBA player.
He's like the third person who's told me that.
Yeah, but I want to address.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to address the material conditions in the Black community. Do you think the black community has a like an overconsumption problem?
An overconsumption problem?
Yeah,
Of what
like
specifically?
like unnecessary spending, like when it comes to food, clothing, phones, video games, uh, or the bigger spender is like weave that black women wear, the blonde 613 blonde bust downs that cost like $600, like stuff like that.
Oh, I think the United States is a consumer nation, and every
Yeah, that's true.
demographic in the United States, by your logic, would have a quote unquote overconsumption problem. But what someone chooses to do with their hard earned money, whether it's fiscally responsible or not, is irrelevant to me. But I find it interesting how much focus you want to put on black women's hair. That was a very interesting fucking point that you just made. Very specific thing you nitpicked.
Well, no, well, I mean, I can address other things too, but I'm saying that the hair consumption especially it's hair from other races. It's not their own hair. And I think they should be confident in wearing
Some of his
their
human hair
real
is
hair.
sourced
I
from
mean,
other
a
black
lot of them.
people. Do you think that white men have an overconsumption problem when they spend hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars on apps like Prize Picks?
You said prize. What did you say
Yeah,
again?
betting. Betting is a huge problem in the United States, particularly with the demographic of people that just has historically more capital to waste on it. That's another problem with the point you just tried to make there. If we're going to use an overconsumption problem based off of the amount that's spent and the things that's being purchased, then you would have to look no further than white people.
Yeah, of course. But
But you
white people,
decided
they
to talk
have they
about
have
black women
it,
and what they
it.
spend their money on because it doesn't sit right with you, in which case, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, but it's going to affect like the our community first, the
Are
most.
you a
You know what I
black
mean?
person?
Yeah,
You're a black person.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
So,
go ahead.
so first things first is that I wasn't talking about the material conditions in the Black community. I was talking about how does like racism, all right, calling a white person a name because white people actually don't experience racism, all right, how is it impacting their material conditions? That's what I was talking about. All right. So for you to come over here and talk about overconsumption and black women spending money on hair, maybe we should look at why black women have to spend money on, a bust down. Why we got to spend money on that? All right. Could it be the
I,
fact that we experience bias? We experience bias. All right. So anti-blackness, not even just from white folks, but within our own communities when we wear our natural hair. Our hair is called nappy. All right. It's called unruly. All right. We can't go to a job interview with our natural hair out in the way in which it grows from our scalps because they'll say that we're unkempt. All right. So let's talk about how this system of white supremacy actually makes it so where they set a European standard of beauty and we fight against it every single friggin' day. Yet we still got to work. We still got to go outside. We still got to do things. Why aren't you looking at that versus asking why we spend money on hair? Huh?
well, because that's why I know it's been a history of white supremacy and oppression, and I've heard that even when I was growing up, my mother used to say, yeah, like the nappy head and stuff. Oh yeah, all that stuff was toxic. I agree with you on that stuff. How it stems from white supremacy and racism and bias and stuff of that nature. I understand that. That's why I think as a community we need to encourage more uh, black girls to embrace their real hair, because even when they're not working or going to school, they still have insecurities about their real hair, and a lot of it comes from their mothers. Like a lot of mothers say
Oh my
you're
God, sir, can you
nappy-headed.
just tell
And
us how much you hate Black women and get this conversation over
I
with?
don't.
Because if you've been
No,
paying
I don't.
attention over the past 10 years, I'm not finished. If you've been paying attention over the past 10 years, you will fully see that there has been a huge natural hair movement. You will see that. You will see more than ever today, more little Black girls, more Black women wearing their natural hair. Yet still, all right, there is a standard that has been set within our society that is extremely anti-Black, and it tells us that our hair is not okay. I want you to stop pretending. So again, just tell us how much you hate Black women, and let's get this conversation
don't
over
hate.
with. Like, speed it up.
I don't hate.
It also feeds
I don't
into
hate
what I was
Black
talking
women.
about earlier with the crown
I,
hanger.
Yeah,
absolutely.
literally. Yeah.
That Black women especially get discriminated by based on their hair, and it's legal in half the country.
W's in the chat to Melvin for the $2 super chat. White fragility is real, 6,000%. That was a little earlier up. I forgot to read it. My apologies. Guys,
Yeah,
best way to support the platform is going to be the links in the bio. Please make sure we take care of Blue and Erica while they're here. Their links are also available. If you're over on the Tube side, super chat, super sticker, or becoming a member, your engagement is super important. Your donations help us do this do this shit that we do on a daily basis, and I won't fucking be here tomorrow. So do all the good things, as Erica would say. I'm baffled that you called in with this specific point, and that's the first thing you brought up. And I'm a whole Black man. Why wouldn't you have that discussion with Black women? Better yet, now you're having one because the Black women stepped up as they typically do to speak to you. But why did you bring that up with me?
Well, I wanted to, because I feel like nobody really talks about this issue.
It's not an issue. That's why. It's an issue to
bring it up
you.
because-
It's a preference to you, I guess, not to see Black women spend what they want to on their hair.
Wigs is a waste of money. It's a ginormous waste of money.
Okay.
They're very expensive. You know, the same thing with nails and eyelashes.
Why is it a waste of money to you is irrelevant to those women who do it. People
Because a lot of the
do
women who are
things
in
to
poverty
affirm their
who need
gender
help.
to make them feel beautiful, to get by on a daily basis. It's fiscal responsibility or irresponsibility means fuck all to me. I think the same way Malcolm died so you can drink out them fountains as white people, he also died so Black women can do all the shit that everyone else does. And they would really appreciate it if we didn't have to hear bullshit from our own men.
I'm not trying to talk down on Black women. I'm just saying that the wigs, it actively harms them.
What do Black men overconsume in the United States?
Of course Black men do.
What
We
do
overconsume
Black
a lot.
men overconsume in the United States?
Sneakers, jewelry, weed. We buy a lot of weed. I live in a Black community, and it's all. I only see them buy weed, like weed, jewelry, sneakers. They go out to pop bottles. You know, I see it all the time.
Okay,
Didn't
cool.
realize those were
Oh my God, this
exclusive to Black
motherfucker's living in a fucking stereotypical rap video. What is wrong
Right.
with him? Like, good grief.
Drill music is a big thing. And all I hear is drill
Jesus
music.
Christ.
That's all they play around.
Hey, good God, sir. You don't see Black kids graduating from university.
Of
You don't
course
see
I
them
do.
graduating from high
Yeah, of
school.
course I do.
Like you don't see Black people like starting businesses. Like you don't see that.
I
You don't
do.
see Black people upward mobility, buying houses,
I do.
buying cars, doing all of the amazing things. You don't see that. You don't see Black people like passing down generational wealth, even though it's at a disparate rate. All right, than white people. All right, we're still doing it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I do see Black individuals.
No,
Black people doing all that
I
stuff.
don't want to talk to you no more. I am so sick and tired of you anti-Black Negroes. Like, y'all really getting on my darn nerves. Like, why are you doing the job of white supremacists? Like, what are you doing in your community so you can be the change that you want to see? Huh? What are you doing?
How is me being against Black women putting white women's hair in their head?
Ain't nobody
against
putting no white
poor
women's
white
hair
supremacists?
in their head. Let's be so fucking for real. Ain't never
That's
been no Black woman that went to a beauty supply store and said, "Let me get that Russian 16-inch. Let me get that Russian 30. All right, let me get that Polish 25." Like, boy, be for real. Nobody is putting white women's hair in their head.
Not more like Brazilian hair. It's Brazilian hair. It's Indian hair, but the
And they not white, so
613
there's that part. So anywho, answer my question. Why are you anti-Black, and what are you doing in your community to be the change that you want to see? You haven't answered that.
I'm not anti-black. I speak
You are
out against
anti-black.
I do. I speak out against. I do donations all the time. I'm a Christian. I help set up homeless tables. I feed the homeless in my community.
I'm sorry.
We bring out tables every
I
Sunday,
don't.
and we help feed the homeless.
I'm sorry. I get annoyed when black people up here, black women have to defend their hair choices. Out of all the issues that we have, I'm running a whole live to speak on the actions of this fucking administration, the government, the systemic power that is keeping us down. Before you have energy for fucking SCOTUS and them gutting Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, before you have any fucking energy for the Trump administration gutting DEIA policies and laying off 300,000 black women, I believe another additional 100,000, and that includes black men, before you have any energy whatsoever, and how he quite literally champions racism in the United States, and every fucking time he gets the Oval Office, hate crimes go up, especially against our community. You have more energy to fucking weave. Does that make any sense to you? Whatever your personal preference is, your personal preference. I know dudes. Oh, I don't like that hair. I don't like that hair. I don't know. Don't get with those fucking women who don't like that. Who do that hair. Better yet, maybe you should educate yourself and understand the reasons why we do it, which is in part because of societal pressures. Because women have to feel like they need to do all these things to be beautiful, and quite frankly, I don't give a fuck if they do. Why are we talking about this over the government stepping on your goddamn neck right now?
Okay, so I mean, I'd talk about Trump. You know, I don't know that much about the DEI policy. The main thing I voted for Trump for was the immigration. I didn't really vote for him for.
Oh, they took your black job, didn't you?
I'm sorry?
They took your black job, didn't you? They took your black job, right?
No, I'm a factory worker.
They didn't take your black job? Okay, so did they kick you out your black house?
I mean, I'm a warehouse worker. I'm sorry. No, they didn't kick me out.
They didn't kick you out your. Did they steal your black car?
No.
Did they take your black food?
Black food.
They took your black woman. That's why you so upset.
Did they take your black woman, the one who wore natural hair, the gem?
Hey, I'm more black. I'm more pro black woman than you guys.
I'm
you
sure.
Guys
Did they take your black woman?
Notice he didn't answer that.
I know.
Did who take my black woman?
Did the immigrants take your black woman?
No.
Okay, so riddle me this, and I'm legitimately trying to figure this out. You said you voted for Trump because of immigration. Donald Trump's immigration policy is mass deportation, particularly of individuals who are not the worst of the worst that they allege, violating due process, breaking up the Constitution, even putting black immigrants at risk, such as Haitians, so on and so forth. They didn't take your woman. They didn't take your job, your house, your car, your food. How exactly are they negatively impacting you?
No, the black immigrants, and you can, because I live in New Jersey, and a lot of black people complain about this. They cause a lot of
I didn't
problems.
ask about other black people. I remember asking you a specific question. Why did you vote for Donald Trump? Because of his actions against immigrants when they have done nothing to you.
I've done stuff.
Tell me what they've done to you, because apparently all the things I laid out were non sequiturs.
They didn't do nothing to me personally.
Oh.
But they do. But
Did they do something to your mama?
Do you live in Do you live in New Jersey?
New York, Brooklyn, born.
So you don't see like we just had a couple shootings in New Jersey from illegal immigrants.
Oh.
Where I live.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Shootings. Is crime exclusive to
I
immigrants?
live in the hood.
And how do you know that they're illegal? How do you know they're illegal?
Because we saw them getting locked up. They didn't speak a lick of.
I'm sorry. You saw someone who shot up someone else or a house get locked up, and because they didn't speak English, you believe that they're undocumented.
Well, ICE came, so I'm assuming that ICE came to get them.
Yeah, ICE been rounding up a lot of American civilians and detaining them for days at a time, even though they're showing their real ID. Do I need to go over all the examples of people in ICE detention centers? Currently, well, not even currently, in the past, by the past, I just mean literally over the course of the year and a half. Do I need to go over that long list of Americans that were detained and showed their real ID or other documentation that proves their citizenship? Do I need to go down that long list with you? Or can you accept the fact that looking at someone because of their skin tone or them speaking Spanish does not determine their citizenship?
Well,
And crime
that's
isn't
what the Ice
exclusive
Age
to undocumented migrants. So you now seeing alleged undocumented migrant shootout isn't a reason to vote for a man who weaponized ICE to go around terrorizing Americans, shooting them in the face, violating the due process, negating their medical needs, so on, so forth.
Do they detain? That's actually a good point that you brought up. Do they detain? I thought they detain Americans if those Americans are around illegal migrants. Is that true? Or?
That makes no sense. ICE has no authorization to interact with Americans unless those Americans are impeding on said operations.
So they can't like ask questions. They can't ask Americans questions.
No.
They can ask.
I mean, they could ask it, but they don't have to get an answer. They can ask it, but they don't have to have an answer. They don't have to get an answer.
God bless you. No, I know that. I'm just saying, but they can ask, is this person a migrant or are you, questions like that?
I don't give a shit what they ask. They don't have to get an answer.
Yeah, I know that. I know they don't have to give an answer, but they can legally ask people information.
You can legally ask anyone anything, just about. I mean, that's all a matter of if you are at work or not. If you're on the street, you can ask people whatever, I guess.
Hector, may I say something?
Yeah.
I hop online. All I see is coons and jickaboos. Coons and jickaboos. Ooh. They shuck
You have a nice
and
voice, by the way.
jive. You are annoying and you're anti-black as fuck. I just want to let you know that.
I got
all right? I don't know
I'm
why you
anti-black.
are, sir, but you just are. These niggas.
Being pro-abortion, that's anti-black.
Look at your pathetic. You can't fucking help you guys can't help yourself. You guys can't help yourself.
He hates black women.
There's a script. Erica, they have a script. They have a script. And they go.
He is checking them off as he goes.
Margaret Sanger, decrease black wages and jobs, Dixiecrats, what's the other?
I don't want to go. I know it's next on that list, but I ain't gonna say it. Not doing Pride Month. I'm not doing it. But sir, sir, you are absolutely a tool, a agent of the white supremacy. All right, you really have got to stop. Okay, your obsession with what black women do with our hair, and also your obsession with what we do with our uterus is absolutely out of hand. I want you to control yourself, okay? All right, mind the business that pays you. You got a job, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You like your job?
I do.
Okay, then mind your own goddamn business, because ain't nobody took your job from you. Ain't no black woman stopped you from doing nothing. Ain't no immigrant stopped you from doing nothing. All right, just mind your business, all right? Mind your business.
You have yet to substantiate how immigration has negatively impacted you. Because if I was to go down your line of logic on, I think I saw some undocumented migrants based off of their skin color and accent, thanks Supreme Court. Now they're proud about it. And I think they need to get deported. Then I can say quite a bit about the white people in my community. I can say that about any demographic in my community. I think these people don't belong here, and I think I should vote for a guy who would literally violate the law to make this country more white. Does that make an ounce of sense to you? You want to talk about being for black empowerment? You want to talk about supporting black women more than we do? Fucking hilarious. Then why in the hell would you vote for the man who's done nothing but disparage black women unless they suck him off?
I didn't vote for a man to.
Ain't no black women doing that.
That's not what I voted for him for. I didn't vote for him to disparage black women.
Candace, stop. Man got up on the stage, disparaged the likes of one of the most accomplished, educated, well-spoken, intelligent, beautiful black women to exist in the government. Wow, I cannot believe I just did that.
You talking about that thing where they went to in Chicago where
Nicki Minaj?
They invited Trump?
Don't you.
You talking about Nicki Minaj?
Ketanji Brown Jackson. Don't you fucking start, Erica.
Omarosa?
Lisa Cook. Letitia James.
Candace Owens.
kick your ass.
Candace Owens. I thought that.
Or better yet, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris got up, negated her blackness in a room full of black people, and you cheered it on. I bet you thought it was funny when Donald Trump said she turned black. Did you laugh?
Well, it's the way he said it. That's why I laughed.
So you did laugh. You laughed. You laughed. Look at that.
That you would admit that.
Look at that.
You didn't laugh?
Whenever he championed the birther movement against Obama, him and his party spread propaganda about Michelle Obama that we still talk shit, fight back on today about her being a man. You laughed, didn't you?
No, I didn't laugh at that.
Oh, you didn't laugh at that.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
He specifically hates black women. So.
Yeah,
fair.
Look,
You
I'm
like
the
Obama,
biggest
right?
Lover of black women. I'm the biggest lover of black women. You guys don't love black women.
You love what
I
they do for
black
you.
women.
You don't love black women because love means you protect them. It means you respect them. It means you uphold them.
I do
Love
protect
isn't
them.
just because
I
you do
know-
this good service for me. Maybe I'll buy you a drink. That's not fucking love. Love is respecting them in every space with every group of people, no matter what the fuck they say. That's what the fuck love is. All you've come up here and shown that you love what they do for you. You love how they feel on your fucking nuts. You don't give a shit about black women, at least not the ones who don't think the way you do.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You're just rambling.
I mean, you have a comprehension problem too. That's not fucking surprising.
I don't have a comprehension problem. I told you why I love black women. You don't love black women. You think you want them. You think you should leave them alone even if they wear fake hair. Which
Actually, you
I
haven't
think-
articulated.
real hair up.
I think black women can wear and do whatever the fuck they want. That's what I think.
Did somebody get over for you for a wig or something? Like, what happened? What happened?
You actually
No, I
haven't
just
articulated
seen
why
I
you
just
quote
seen-
unquote love black women. You've only stated that you love black women. You haven't actually articulated the
The why and the
Yeah.
how.
No, I just seen wigs mess my family members' hair up. My mother, my sister.
Okay, so
my
you're just
aunt,
gonna bypass that
my
part.
grandmother.
You're so stuck on the wigs.
Bro probably dated somebody in college and maybe had a little money on him. And she was like, baby, can I get me some little money so I can do something nice for myself? Yeah, here's $500. He came home, he saw a new hairdo on. He's like, what the fuck is that? This was the thing I was doing nice for myself. And that nigga said, never again.
That's actually true.
Bruh.
What?
I
Ain't
said
no
that's
way.
actually true. I did give money to a girl I was dating, and she bought a wig, and I was upset.
Ain't no way. You're not a real person.
I hate when he does
Why
this
not?
part right here. Oh, I hate when he does this. Blue, it's all you. It's all you, friend. You got it.
So you've expressed in many ways how you hate black women, but you still haven't expressed how you love black women. I'm still waiting on that.
Oh, I love them
how and
because-
why do you love black women?
I love them because most of them are good mothers.
See, it's just as Hector said, Blue. I'm not engaging with him no more. It's only about how black women can be of service. All right, of service to him. That's it.
Not for me. I said good mothers. That's
No,
not
no,
a
you
service
said
to
good.
me.
That actually is of service to you, though, sir. All right, because it's emotional labor, physical labor that you don't have to take on. It's labor that you simply do not have to do because she's doing it, and that's why you appreciate it. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, let's be serious.
What? That made no sense.
Your weaponized incompetence makes no sense.
What do you love about black women?
I love their strength. I love their integrity. I love their beauty. I love their intelligence. I love the fact that they're the ones that are always standing in the forefront in every single situation.
I love their fucking brains and how 92% of them understood the assignment.
But you see what you did? You know what you didn't say? it's all everything that we love about them is all educated related.
Oh, I'm so sorry you love stupid people. I am so sorry you love stupid people.
What?
Listen to me. Listen to me. Get down how you get down. Get down how you get down. I like, Blue likes, and vice versa, I'm sure, Erica likes, black people with a brain. How long you been married, sir?
You know, I'm not married.
How old are you?
21.
21?
Yes, sir.
Who the fuck you playing? Who the fuck are you playing? You ain't 21.
It's the roughest 21.
21 where?
This is a tough 21.
What do you mean 21?
This 21 has seen some years.
When's the last time you saw your? When's the last time you? When's the first time you saw a dead body? You was like 4, wasn't you? You sound hardened. When's the first time you saw your first dead body?
Jesus Christ.
When my pops passed away.
Damn. That's rough. You ever see one on the street?
I thought he was like 60.
60s.
Are you doing that thing that it's a stereotype? It's not necessarily true. You doing that thing that stereotypically they say women be doing? Whether they would multiply it by 3. Is that what you dividing it by 3?
Sure.
Is that what you doing? You dividing your age by 3?
Yeah, I'm 60.
Yeah, that tracks. Get the fuck off my line. W's in the chat to Melvin for the $5 super chat. You are disingenuous and disrespectful to our women. Instead of defending and protecting them, you want to judge and castigate them. Shame on you. That wasn't fun anymore. He's gross. I would like to have a political conversation. I would love to have a political conversation. Who's in the request? Let's see who's in the request. Can we get to politics, please? Holy shit. I mean, that was political. Zeke, did you vote for Trump?
I did, yes.
And do you regret your vote?
I do not, no.
Why is that?
Well, I think that Trump is following up with everything that he promised.
Cool. We're going to get into that in a moment. Let me do this PSA. Guys, if you're not following me, hit that follow button in the top left corner. We are live every Saturday after 3 p.m. CST and randomly throughout the week. There's a couple cool things you can do while you are here to support the stream. First and foremost, make sure you are double tapping it. And upon following me, you can send your daily heart me for 1 coin a week. At least 1 coin a week. You can have a membership that gives you access to these cool little stickers down there, such as the GOP behavior we've been experiencing for this entire goddamn live. Also, make sure you share with the live with your friends and family and repost and add to your story. I want this to reach as many people as possible. I can only do that with you. So make sure you're doing all of those things. Knock out the finger hearts goal. We have 55 more of those to go up in the top middle there. You can choose to become a super fan if you want. I prefer you subscribe to the Discord, become a member on the YouTube. And then finally, take care of Erica also and Blue while they're sitting up here co-hosting with me, helping with my emotional labor tonight because, oh my God, the calls have been something. And then check out the links in the bio for the absolute best ways to support the platform. First and foremost, I keep saying first and foremost, it's like the third thing. Follow me on all the social media platforms. Hector Talks with 2 R's on YouTube that we're doing streaming to right now, or Instagram where I post the videos that I put up here. Join the Discord community. We are over 700 members strong. It is free. You can choose to sub there, but it's free. Also, shop. Get your merch off the merch shop. I'm literally decked the fuck out in my own shit today. You can guess from the Make 2 + 2 = 4 again, or 6,000% or New Testament Democrat line, all available at hectorshops.com with 2 R's. If you are a subscriber to the Discord, a super fan here, or a member over on the YouTube side, you get exclusive discount code. So if you make a purchase, please make sure you get that first. And if you don't know how to get it, just send me a message or leave a comment on one of the things on the YouTube and I'll get it to you. And then finally, donate directly to the links in the bio. If you love the information, education and entertainment that we are providing, please say your thanks through Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Hector Talks with 2 R's and Cash App and Venmo. PayPal, Hector Pal with 2 O's and 2 R's. Those of you over on the YouTube side, hit the like button on the stream, subscribe, turn on notification bells, and if you want to support, super chat, super sticker, or becoming a member. Back to Zeke here. You said you think Donald Trump is doing all these great things that he campaigned on, promised, whatever. Let's start with one.
Hector, if you don't mind, may I have just 30 seconds? My dog wants to be let out. Would you mind if I let him out real quick and come right back?
No
I didn't
problem.
want to do that.
No problem. Go let your dog out. Go let your dog out. Go let your dog out. Woof. I'm only in a good mood because I'm coping. Guys, I'm about to spend a day on the road. The reason why I won't be here tomorrow is I'm helping a friend move, and it's very far, and I'm annoyed. Because I don't get paid for that shit, but that's my friend. And that's what you do for friends. I fucking hate road trips. I don't like road trips. I used to as a kid. I used to love that shit. Now I'm like, meh. If I had my laptop.
All right, I'm back. Thank you for that, sir.
Got you. All right. Start with one thing. One thing that you think Trump is following through with.
Okay, well, one of the things that he's followed up through is the secured border. That's one.
Hey, sir, how many times do you think I have an immigration debate on a daily basis?
I don't know. This is the first time I see you live.
Got you. What do you think my response is going to be? I'm curious because I know you guys have a perception of the left and what you think of immigration. So I'm bored. Let's have fun. What do you think my position is on immigration?
Well, I don't want to assume. I'd rather have you tell me what it is.
Sure. No problem. Do you agree with Donald Trump's sentiment that the left wants open borders?
It seems that way. Yes, I think part of the left actually does want that. Yes.
Okay. What if I told you that the left is only wanting something that already exists and has existed for hundreds of years in this country?
Okay. What if you told me that? What would that mean?
The border has never been closed. A closed border is a hurt America. Did you know that?
I don't see how that can hurt America, but I'm willing to listen to whatever you claim to say.
We have Americans who cross the border on a daily basis for work, alongside people with their appropriate visas and documentation, trucks coming over from Mexico, delivering us all sorts of goods. We bring some of the best and the brightest through some of those borders, whether it's the U.S.-Mexico border, Canada, or otherwise. And all those people come for the betterment of the United States. Even if you're to talk about undocumented migrants specifically, those individuals with the money that they make, whether under the table or not, would pay local and state taxes that go towards education, infrastructure, and many other things cities or states would want to do with that revenue. All the while, they cannot benefit from federal programs such as SNAP, Medicaid, Medicare, so on and so forth, because of 1996, Bill Clinton signed a bill into law that barred them from it. The only thing they have access to or any kind of fund for is EMTALA, which is if you get your arm cut off and you go to the ER, the doctors in there aren't worried about fucking citizenship. They just treat you because you're a human being. And then that would be funded by tax-paying dollars, which immigrants would also pay into, by the way. Bill Clinton is definitely a freaking Republican, yes. But yeah, there you go. That's
okay. Well, all that sounds great, but when I'm referring to secured border, I'm obviously talking about illegal immigration. I am not talking about the things that you reference.
Legal immigration has never been a negative with the Biden administration. I mean, we can have some criticism for his previous term, specifically in the peak of 2022, and executive action. But legislatively, Biden has a bunch of L's. He was literally trying to pass a bill the whole time, and because of Congress and people wanting to play partisan games, it couldn't get done.
Okay, I'm not making a comparison. You asked me why I voted for Donald Trump, and I'm telling you why. I'm not saying that Biden was not doing that. That's not my claim.
Yeah, well, you would be voting over Trump over Kamala Harris in the 2024 election under this belief that Donald Trump would get the problem sorted, when it quite literally hasn't been. There's been no plug. There's been no long-term solution. There's just been the militarization of the border.
Well, no, that's not entirely accurate. Why I did not choose Vice President Harris over President Trump. There are other reasons why I did not do that. But
is immigration one of those reasons?
Are you saying what? Well, one thing I want to address the secure border part. Did I just hear you claim that the border is not secure? Is that what you claim at this?
That is correct. Not by your definitions, they're not secure.
Well, what was the last number that we got on counter
for the month, for the year,
for the month, last month, for last month, let's say, or even the year?
I actually don't know
Sir.
what it was last month. I know it was for 2025, specifically in the last 3 months.
But I can guarantee
Well,
you
according
don't.
to the Department of Homeland,
Oh, go ahead.
okay, according to the Department of Homeland Security and according to the president, the number of illegal crossings have decreased by about 90 to 99% of what he, when he reaches peak.
Crossings, you say?
Illegal encounters, yes, at the border. People coming into the border trying to enter the country illegally.
Do you think
Encounters, yes,
encounters
that's
and
what.
crossings are the same thing?
No,
Okay.
they're
So, do
not.
you know what constitutes an encounter?
When you encounter someone at the border trying to enter illegally, that is not through a port of entry.
So DHS has three. CBP specifically has three things that make up encounters. There are three specific things. Do you know what
Right.
those three
Ooh,
things
I
are?
like that, Ron. Fear isn't security and encounters isn't crossing. 6,000%.
Okay.
Do you know what those three things are?
No, what are those three things?
Inadmissibles, apprehensions, and expulsions under Title 42.
Well, Title 42, well, okay. So let me address the last one first.
I want to see what it does.
Title 42 was struck down by the Supreme Court. It was deemed unconstitutional during the Biden administration. I think that happened between
that's
about the
not
first year of the Biden administration.
No,
No.
it was.
He fought to keep it in his first year of the Biden administration.
It wasn't deemed unconstitutional. It was deemed unnecessary anymore because we weren't under a health emergency.
Right, that's what the Supreme Court ruled.
It's
But
not
the
unconstitutional.
Title 42 said that
But
we
that
will
was that was
stop
only
any
but-
form of.
He's thinking of something different. Is he thinking of remain in Mexico?
Yeah, he's thinking of remain in Mexico.
Because
No, remain in
Biden wanted
Mexico
to-
is another policy. Title 42 was during C-19 that they pretty much shut down any form of entry into the country, asylum seeking or refugee program. All of that was canceled under Title 42, as far as I know. But I could be wrong.
It wasn't all canceled, but it was tightened severely.
Okay, so
but
that's the gist of it.
the one thing the only thing out of those three things that I mentioned was expulsions. That was the only thing that was tied to Title 42.
Okay.
The inadmissibles and the apprehensions are the things that happen between ports of entry and at ports of entry where people are stopped and turned around.
Right.
So encounters equals enforcement.
Well, Title 42 made that legal to do so, but
What?
it is actually illegal to
What?
encounter somebody at the border and turn them back.
There weren't encounters before Title 42?
Erica, please check your
No, that's not what I said. I said that Title 42 allowed the federal government to allow them to be able to do that, to encounter someone at the border and turn them back. However,
No. Apprehensions and deeming someone inadmissible
David Rain.
has been in the books
Oh, hold on.
since the 50s.
David Rain, you're on the line. Hold, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. Border enforcement has been there the entire time.
yes. What?
Title
What-
42 has nothing to do with that, with inadmissibles and apprehensions.
Okay, well, what do you think Title 42 is? Title 42 is an executive order that was written
No,
by
it's not.
20.
It's not an executive order.
Would you wanna? Okay, so what
It
is
is a title. It is a code in the U.S. law.
Where? Which law?
40. Ain't no way. The law, like U.S. code.
Yes.
U.S. law.
I don't understand your frustration.
It passed in the 40s.
You are
It passed in
claiming
the 40s.
that Title 42 is not a law.
It's not an
That is a
executive
law,
order.
actually. You're saying that
It's
it is
not a law. I
It's
said
an
it's not an executive order.
Correct. 42, Title 42, 42 USC 265.
Mm-hmm.
Passed in 1944. What was the purpose of it? Do you know?
No, I don't.
It's a health law. It was to stop the spread of certain diseases, only to be used not just as a weapon of immigration, but to deter spreading diseases from other countries.
Yes.
God bless you.
Right.
Thank you, Sharon, for
And
the
that was
pianist.
the-
Oh, that is such a cute gift. I've never seen that one before. That's why I said it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Sharon. Also,
You do
W's
know
in the
that I
chat
am
to
not debating
Jamar.
that. I am saying that that was what was being used.
Yeah, but
to
you were just
prevent people
clarifying
from
it 'cause
getting
you said it was
asylum
an
and all of
executive
that.
order, and you sounded
Yes, it's
shocked
one
when we
of the
said it
three
wasn't.
things that's counted towards encounters.
Yes, hold on.
Okay.
W's in the chat to Jamar for the $2 Venmo. Please play that Bernie Mac scene in "Don't Be a Menace." I guess that was for I think that was for the last guest. My bad. I'm late, dude. I'm so sorry. W's in chat to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's only one of the three things that's counted under encounters. The other two are under Title 8.
Okay.
And those have been those were already in place and already happening prior to COVID.
Okay, I think I got a little bit off track here. So, how do you tie this up to the border not being secure at this time?
Because
Which was the
you were
question.
talking about crossings, and then you flipped it to encounters, and you recognize that encounters are not crossings, but we also recognize that encounters are enforcement.
Okay.
So how do you tie the rise or fall of encounters to how secure the border is? If there's lower encounters, wouldn't that mean there's less enforcement?
Yes.
So if the encounters are lower under the Trump administration than they were under the Biden administration, doesn't it mean that the border is less secure now?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how that even makes sense.
Wasn't that the logic that we just went down?
Yeah,
If
I've heard the
it's-
logic that you just went. So you're saying that having more encounters equals a less secure border? Is that your argument?
It's the opposite. Less
Okay.
encounters means by like the logic that we were just going down.
Yes.
More encounters means more enforcement, right?
Yes.
So if there's more enforcement happening, then wouldn't you think that the border is more secure?
But there is less encounters by a significant margin. According to them, again, I'm just going by their numbers,
This
number
logic
has
is just
reduced by
going
98%.
right past you.
So we're just going to break down that percentage he keeps referring to. And we're going to have to explain this with also talking about Biden. Joe Biden passed an executive order or proclamation over the summer of, oh man, he's here too, 2020, in the summer of 2024, which set a cap on those encounters that you're referencing, the 2,500. If we look at the trajectory of encounters from that month onwards, they were on a downward trend, and even before then. So by January of 2025, those encounter rates from the time period that statistic cites, if I'm not mistaken, was January or February or early 2024. What the Trump administration did is they took 60% of Biden's hard work, and then they did 30% of theirs, sending the military to the border, having them shoot at people, all this extra shit. And then they said there was a 95% reduction in encounters. And they compared it to that year, January, February of 2024, when it was much higher. They left out the context that you're not citing right now, which is that by the end of Biden's term and before the end of his term, those numbers were looking much better. Quite frankly, I don't really care because encounters are in no way, shape, or form an indicator of a less or more secure border, because then we would have the numbers to reflect it in terms of crime, and the crime did not substantially increase from undocumented migrants, specifically if we look year over year during his administration.
Okay. So what is your claim exactly? That the border was secure or at least on its way to being secure under Biden and Trump just took over his effort? Is that?
No. I think the border was just fine until the Trump administration started violating the Constitution that warrants the laws that we impose on said border. I think we can look at Donald Trump's first term and go that Obama had negative migration, which means there are literally more people being deported that were coming in and then ran off of there being a mass immigration crisis. And next thing you know, he's ending up declaring emergencies at it. Mind of them, a lot of them were performative, but still, the border has never been this big monumental issue that people keep making out outside of substances. And even then, 86% of the convictions that we have for those substances are from Americans. It's not a big boogeyman. And the encounter rate doesn't mean those people that crossed.
Did anyone, do you have a number on how many people actually crossed and how many encounters that we have during, let's say, the Biden administration? Is that even relevant in your view?
What is it? The best estimates could be 3 to 5 million. Manny could actually better explain that. He's
3 to
expert.
5
Hi,
million
Manny.
what? Is that encounters or border crossings or illegal border crossings?
I can give you the actual numbers. Before I do that, do you know that encounters wouldn't equal how many people crossed into the border, over the border, though, right? Like,
Well, I think I am making a distinction between encounters and illegal crossings. So yes.
Okay. Well, we don't track whatever you consider to be crossings or illegal crossings or whatever. But encounter rates underneath Joe Biden's administration were somewhere between 10 to 11. I believe it was somewhere between 10 to 11 million.
Okay, so you saying that we don't track how many people enter the country illegally?
My bad, 8 million.
Illegal entry into the country is not something that we track?
No, it's not something that we track. We don't track illegal entries.
Okay, so got it. So out of the 8 to 10 or 12 million people that you said that we had encounter at the border,
I misspoke. I was thinking of how many undocumented immigrants we have. It's only 8 million if you add up all 4 years. It was about 1 million in 2021. There's 2.2 in 2022. I think 2.3 in 2023, and there's a little over 1 million in 2024. So I'm rounding up to be about 8 million. There's no.
Okay, so out of those 8 million encounters, how many people were actually allowed into the country? And how many people?
That's why I asked you. You know the distinction. There is no. If encounters means enforcement, right? And we know that the 3 mechanisms for enforcement is expulsions, Title 42. We know that the other one is apprehensions between the ports of entry, and then we have inadmissibles, people at the port of entry. Anybody who is inadmissible cannot enter. Anybody who is underneath Title 42 is expulsion, they did not enter as well. So we only have apprehension, which we don't have a number of we don't have a difference of numbers between the people who are apprehended and allowed to seek asylum versus apprehended and then turned back around. So you would have to look at ATDs, and even then that's not a clear number, but there is no direct correlation between encounters and whatever you consider to be crossings, because somebody can be encountered multiple times at the border. One person can be encountered multiple times.
And you're saying that we don't know what happens to these people, whether
I never stated that reason. I never stated we don't know what happens to those people. That's
to some of them. You said we don't track them. To some of them.
I said we don't track that number. We've never tracked that number. That doesn't mean we don't know what happens to people who we encounter. That's two different things.
Right. So that's my question. The people that we encounter, that some of them apply for refugee, and the other ones that don't. Let's say.
I think you mean
asylum. So we also asylum, and we also don't have a public-facing distinction between somebody who is apprehended at the border and then claimed asylum versus just people who claim asylm. I can tell you how many people are here. I can tell you how many people were here claiming asylum throughout all 4 years of Joe Biden's presidency, somewhere around like 2.9 million, but not all 2.9 million were apprehended. So we don't have that number. We don't have that breakdown in number because that's not a public-facing number.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, and I could be wrong about this, but refugee status is a prerequisite to asylum, is it not?
No, they're two different statuses that follow a similar path, but one seeks asylum and one seeks refugee. They can go and seek both of them at the same time, or not necessarily at the same time, but if you're denied by one, you don't get denied by the other. They're
so isn't Section 81158 says that in order for you to claim asylum in the United States, if you are in the country illegally, you can do that providing that you already qualified as a refugee. Is that
No.
not what the law
No,
says?
8 USC 1158, which is our immigration code, states that people who can claim asylum the requirements have to be on United States soil. It doesn't have a stipulation of seeking refugee status.
Again,
Well, as far
refugee
as
is
I know, it says
completely different.
providing. It says providing that you qualify for refugee.
You say it's providing. So 8 USC
Would-
1158.
I'll put it up.
Do you have the section of which it would say providing? Because I just entered the word providing that I spelled providing correctly, and it doesn't seem to be within 8 USC. I'm going to put in the word refugee, though. So, this says conditions of being granted.
Guys, continue to tap the screen. Let's get the likes of 300K and beyond. Please make sure we're gifting the panel. Also, check out the links in the bio to follow me on all the social medias. Join the Discord. Get yourself some merch off the shop and donating directly to the links in the bio if you want to say thanks. Those of you on the YouTube side, we're a couple likes away from 100 on the stream. Subscribe, turn on notification bells if you want to support super chat, super sticker, or membership. All right, I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to have to shrink it a little teeny tiny witsy bit. I'll just do this. That'll work. That's fine. So, couple of sections in here. 1158A, 1, 2, A, B, C, D, E, F, and none of those sections have anything what you're talking about. There's safe third country, time limit, previous asylum applications, change circumstances, applicability, limitation on judicial review, then conditions. That's section B. Eligibility, burden of proof, in general, sustaining burden, credibility determination. 2 is exceptions. A, in general. B, special rules, conviction of aggravated felony, offenses, additional limitations, no judicial review, treatment in spousal children. It keeps going on. As Manny just did, there's nothing in here about refugee status and that being some type of prerequisite or some additional requirement or anything like that. The only words that we can find similar is here, and this is eligibility in section A. The Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General may grant asylum to an alien who has applied for asylum in accordance with the requirements and procedures established by the Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General under this section if the Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General determines that such alien is a refugee within the meaning of section 1101A 42A of this title.
So if you read burden of proof, number 2, sustained burden. The testimony of the applicant may be sufficient to sustain the applicant's burden without corroboration, but only if the applicant satisfies the tier of fact that the applicant's testimony is credible and persuasive and refers to a specific facts sufficient to demonstrate that the applicant is a refugee.
Yes. So if you go to the section that he just read off, which is 8 USC 1101, which is the definitions, underneath that section, you go to section, I believe this is going to be, follow along with me, definitions, Jesus Christ.
I'm looking.
M42, the term refugee means a person who is outside the country of such person's nationality, or in the case of a person having no nationality, is outside the country in which such person has habitually resided and who is unable or unwilling to return and is unable or unwilling to alleviate himself or herself of the protection of that country because of persecution.
Yes, it is.
This is not talking about refugee status. The other is the term refugee does not include any person who ordered, incited, assisted, or otherwise participated in the persecution of any person. Refugee and refugee status are two different things.
Right.
To apply for refugee status, you need to be outside of the country. Typically, refugee status is given to people through the presidential action anyways, but you do not have to meet the eligibility of refugee does not mean to meet the eligibility for refugee status. Those are two different things.
Yes, because it has to be demonstrated, right?
No, I mean, when I say they're two different things, I mean we have something in the United States called refugee status,
Yes.
and we have something called asylum. Those two
Yes.
statuses are not the same. That
No.
is what I'm saying. You're muted,
I'm
by the
not
way.
saying otherwise.
Correct me
My
if I'm wrong,
question
Manny. Isn't
is saying,
refugees,
yeah,
or can
I
refugees
said
be
it.
considered heavily vetted, like a little bit more vetted in the sense?
Typically, yes, due to the nature of refugee being given, refugees are usually those that are coming from. I know it's similar in the sense of persecution, but it's usually given to countries that are actively in combat. So we can look at Syrian refugees, we can look at Afghan refugees versus somebody who is seeking asylum from, again, like China, for example. These are typically different. I mean, you can seek typically people who seek refugee are coming from actual persecution from their government and or conflict versus people who are a lot of people who come and seek asylum are usually while yes it can be still government, it is also going for DV survivors, and which has stopped underneath this administration actually, so I need to correct myself. This administration doesn't see DV survivors as being a reason for seeking asylum.
That's correct. Sexual abuse no longer recognized as asylum.
It's insane.
I wanted to point out. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. I was just gonna.
No, I was just going to say, wrap it up. Refugee status versus the term refugee are two different things. This is why underneath, and you can also see this because our refugee status and our asylum status is broken down by, oh God, I don't remember this, the international law for refugee asylee, which is what we adhere to. We just separate the two into two different statuses, whereas the rest of the country who actually adheres to refugee asylee law puts them both together. So that's the main differences.
Correct. Even when it comes to refugees, Trump's first administration cap was very low, 10 or 15,000. Biden increased it to 125,000. We have history that shows that they're actually a long-term fiscal positive, net positive on our fiscal budget. And then Donald Trump slashed it again. Hope that helps.
Okay. So, again, everything was.
You're breaking up.
A question. Can you hear me?
A little bit.
Can you hear me?
Breaking up.
Okay. So everything that we were talking about was a question. My question was, is it required for you to be in refugee status before you can apply for asylum legally? That was the question. It wasn't a statement.
The reason why we just went through all of that is because we were clarifying
Right.
what you meant by refugee status.
Yeah.
Right,
So
but
the
I
answer to
understand
your
that. I
question
understand
is
what
quite simply no.
But you keep saying refugee
No,
status,
okay.
so that's why we're having trouble with you saying you understand it.
Okay, yeah, but that was a question. Okay, so we got that cleared. Okay, so I still don't get the premise of the whole thing. Are you guys saying that, is it the claim that you guys saying that the border at this moment it's not secured? Or was it never open? Or did we have any illegal entry into the country at all? I mean,
point of
what
everything-
is your
Questions.
view?
The point of everything we just went through is to explain to you that the metrics that you use to define security don't define security. Encounters aren't an indicator of crossings, which aren't some indicator of mass amounts of criminals slipping through. If we're to talk about a bunch of people who came in, that would, I would argue, be reflected in the numbers, right? If undocumented migrants in mass flooded the country, were let in under Joe Biden, he took the key to the southern border, clicked it, opened it up, then we would see that reflected in the numbers, because that's what he's saying. They're raping our women, they're doing this, they're doing that. We have a 150-year history of data that shows undocumented migrants are least likely to commit crimes than the average American, from 2 to 4 times less likely, depending on the crime. They're not committing these mass amounts of crime. Now, if you want to still say that's an issue because we don't know who they are, blah, 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 so on and so forth, sure, we have laws for that. And he's gone.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
The border has never been open? Sure. Come tell me about it. Trump supporters request up in the box. You are the demographic of people I'd like to have a conversation with. If you're over on the tube side, and we call the number on screen, 737-295-5321. Two quick thank yous. W's in the chat to Joker Card for the $9.99 super chat, and W's in the chat to Joker Card once again for the $20 super chat. People like this make me feel the need to remind everyone about the Latina Trump supporter that was deported like a month after a rally stop. Defending the people that hate you, anyone darker than drywall is a target. Message. W's in the chat to you. Thank you so much for your support. You ain't told a single lie. You ain't told a single lie. He cared so much he had to run. Well, it's. Listen, I can at least respect the fact that, he didn't call me a slur and he wasn't disrespectful, but that's kind of how it goes. One thing I will say about these spaces, and why I try to adjust it from a bite-sized lens, but at the same time, it's hard to, especially when they're asking a million and one questions, even though they're not prepared to receive or comprehend the answers. I know I didn't change from being MAGA in one day. So sometimes I do wonder about that in this space. When you're just relaying off all the information, you tell them this, and I'm like, damn, this person ain't registering half of this shit. But the truth of the matter is, if they wanted to, they would. If they truly wanted to learn and absorb the information, they can. And one of the amazing things about that conversation is he was looking up everything we were saying himself. I can at least respect that. Looks like he just disconnected because he's back.
By the way, the international law that I was looking for is the United Nations, Jesus Christ, where I just had it. United Nations Refugee Convention, 1951, which the UN protocol was 1967, in 1960, and then in 1968, in the 1980s with the Refugee Act, and then we enacted INA. So the INA and the Refugee Act are directly coming from the UN protocol, which is the UN Refugee Convention that we actually adhere to for our both a definition of what what a refugee is, as well as what an asylum seeker and what asylum status is. The other thing, because you guys were talking about Title 42, Title 42 USC, or United States Code Title 42, is built up of the Public Health Service Act, the Social Security Act, the Fair Housing Act, and I think those are the major three, which is going through HHS and HHS and HUD. But what you guys are talking about for Title 42 is Section 265. I think it's 265 for immigration expulsion. I think it's 265. I'm gonna have to recheck that. I'm playing a game right now. Sorry.
Welcome back, Zeke.
Sorry about that. My phone died. I had to get it to charge and plug it back in.
Yeah, do not charge.
My apologies. So I'm trying to understand what we're saying. So basically what we're saying is that the border is not secure. It was never secure. And is that the claim, that the Trump administration is just lying about the whole thing? Is that
the claim? Is, well, not even the claim. We've substantiated. Your definition of security is wrong. So by your logic, it wouldn't be quote unquote more secure than before. The border is fine. It's been fine. The only thing at threat in regards to the southern border under this administration is the Constitution, the violation of rights for asylum seekers and other people. It's mostly interiorly what we have to worry about versus what's taking place at the border, other than potential human rights violations when the military could be allowed to shoot at you because you're trying to cross.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure on the status of everything that you just said, but I kind of get the idea. But I still, so let me ask this question. According to the 8 million, this whole number that we hear, this 8 million, 10, 12 million people that were encountered on the border, do we know what happened to these people? Were these people let in, or they were sent back? A number of them were sent back. A number of them were let in. And what is the situation now? Are we still getting those numbers?
People were not let in. No.
I'm not saying that they were. This is a question. It's not a statement.
But I gave you that answer.
This, were they that? And that's what I just answered.
Yeah, but I gave you that answer. There's no. So first off, if we take the definition of where each encounter number falls under, whether it's expulsions, apprehensions, or inadmissibles, only one of those categories would honestly be.
Someone's on hold. Oh shit, I forgot.
Oh fuck. Only one of those numbers could honestly be debatable about whether or not somebody could be in the United States, and that would be apprehensions. The other two is, at least at the time of the number being counted, is 100% not in the United States, or at least 99% not in the United States. Sorry for that absolutism, but even and then going with apprehensions, there is no metric that you could use to say 60%, 80%, 20%, 30% of apprehensions are people who are allowed to be in the United States. And if that is to be true, even if you say 80% of apprehensions, which is not true, this is just a hypothetical. If you wanted to use the high end of apprehensions and say 80% of all apprehensions underneath Joe Biden's administration were allowed to be in the United States, allowing would be following the law. And that means our United States Border Patrol, as well as CBP and ICE, which is ultimately who would take control of apprehensions. ICE allowed them to be in the United States. That's following the law. So I'm not really sure where you're trying to lead with that question.
I'll tell
Well,
you
I'm
what.
just trying to find information of what happened to this incredible number of people that there is claimed that it was, right? We're talking about 8 to 12 million, and you're saying, well, we don't know exactly what
know
happens
is that
to
we
50,
documented the
60% of
encounter.
them.
I never no, you're not. I'm gonna maybe I said too many words. I'm gonna make it very clear. It's not that we don't. Go ahead. I don't know how to make it.
Zeke, we give you a lot of information. Just go comprehend it and read. I'm sorry. I have someone on the line, and we've been repeating ourselves. Like, there's only so much I'm going to beat a dead horse. I appreciate your civility. Just go read. The whole point is, America is no safer with Donald Trump's actions at the southern border. In fact, the money that we're wasting on it and the human rights violations we're going through is making us worse. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's the big part. Caller, are you still there?
Yes.
My apologies. That was a long wait. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
And do you regret your vote?
Nope.
Got you. Hold for 1 second. Just literally 1 second. Blue, I'm going to swap you out. Thank you for being my token nigga tonight. I'm going to keep Manny up here.
No problem.
Try to rotate y'all out for the night before I go on break. I appreciate y'all. Big W's to Blue. Guys, if you're not following Blue, go follow Blue. We love Blue over here. He also hosts his own lives at times, and you'll see him all fighting the good fight. I appreciate you coming up, man. Good to see you.
No problem.
Manny, you're the new token.
Blue.
Oh, you.
Oh my God. All right.
Alrighty. Why don't you regret your vote for Trump?
Well, I would say on like certain things, like I don't regret voting for him, period. But the things that I don't like about him sometimes is, one, he can be childish. Number two, he just keeps talking about the same BS that happened 6 years ago? Stuff like that. And with me, I feel like there's some things that he's doing that is good, but I feel like it's not being, it's not being used correctly. Like some people take advantage of it to do horrid stuff.
You think some people are taking advantage of Donald Trump's policies to do horrible stuff?
Mm-hmm. Like with stuff with ICE, like there's been incidents I've heard and looked into of like people getting targeted or like targeted deportation, stuff like that.
So if the president of the United States appoints Stephen Miller as one of his chief advisors, and Stephen Miller goes out and puts a quota on DHS or ICE to go and detain 3,000 people a day. And because of this rampant quota, ICE is going out into the streets, picking up anybody and everybody, including American civilians, racking up quite a bill in regards to the lawsuits and violations. And in his first interview, if I'm not mistaken, it was June or July of last year, when he's asked about what ICE is doing and if he thinks that they went too far, he says, I don't think they've gone far enough. Is that the people abusing his idea or law or bastardizing it, or does it sound like it's working quite literally as he intended for it to work?
I would say I don't think it's coming into fruition what I would think. But I personally can't say about Donald Trump. I'm just trying to be factually honest here. I don't know what history reasons are. We can only see what we're shown.
The fun thing about Donald Trump is we don't have to assume what he's thinking. He quite literally tells us day in and day out. And he's made it very clear that he loves what they're doing. And he's done nothing but shit on Democrats for any calls for accountability and restrictions they've done on additional funding to the department.
Okay. Is that all? I'm literally just asking so I could, like...
Sure. Point is, what's taking place is what he wanted. We can even go as far as to Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good. He called her a domestic terrorist. He never called for a full investigation on the person on behalf of misconduct or anything of that nature. He defended it. He was the person quick on the front lines to post the most blurry, chopped up video and then post the phone footage of Jonathan Ross as some type of gotcha, even though it showed that he had no reason to shoot her in the face when she was turning in the opposite direction. Fast forward to Alex Preddy, shot point blank in the back, on the ground, restrained by 4 to 6 different ICE agents. He's quick to go to social media and call him a gunman, even though he never pulled out his firearm and fired it at anyone. I think we can take that and ascertain exactly what Donald Trump wants to take place, especially when his defense is he should have never had a weapon, even though he was legally permitted to carry it in the street.
Okay. You know, I'll be honest with Alex Preddy. I would agree with you on that. Like, there's no evidence to show what he has shown, and I have a lot of objective friends that look into it too, right? And we're like, there's no fucking way that that was a gun. You know, I'll agree with Alex Preddy. But honestly, I've looked into multiple sources. I've looked into Fox News. I've looked into NBC. From what I saw, honestly, with Renee Good, should he have shot her?
I should have said her
no.
name. I blame
But from
myself.
what I saw, it
shouldn't
looked
have
like
said
to
her fucking
me
name.
she had the ring to
I
back
did this to
up.
myself.
And from what I
This one
saw,
pisses
she
me
didn't
off.
back up. She moved forward. Now, I see that situation as an unfortunate situation that should have been avoided. I feel like, I don't know about her herself, the woman who got shot, but her wife, you know, she was out there like antagonizing the police or ICE agents, you know, doing that type of thing, getting in their way.
She was doing none of those things.
But
did you see footage of her antagonizing ICE agents?
Yes, sir, I did.
What footage was that?
I'm pretty sure it was on both Fox and NBC or MSNBC. She was just out there fucking like basically like getting as close as she could as possible, like yelling things at them, yelling at
You're talking about the wife. The wife is the one who got shot in the face.
I'm trying to think here. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that weren't they lesbians?
What the fuck does them being lesbians have to do? What?
No, I'm asking about that situation.
I
with
said
her. Like,
wife. That would allude to them being in a romantic relationship. What does them being lesbian have to do with anything?
No, I'm just asking because that's what I was heard. You know, that's what I heard.
I literally said wife. So that would imply that they're in a same-sex relationship.
Yes.
So what does that have to do when we're talking about somebody being shot?
I'm literally just trying to understand that that's what's going on. Like, I'm trying to make sure that if we're talking about the girl who was driving and got shot, or her partner that was in the passenger seat.
I was at Walmart the other day, and I saw this guy hop out of a minivan and shoot 3 kids in the back. Those kids were wearing blue shorts. Irrelevant. It's a non-factor, a non-sequitur. An American civilian was shot in the face and died because an ICE agent got up in his fucking panties.
Okay, I will be honest with you. I don't think she should have gotten shot. I was just trying to clarify a thing that I was hearing about.
Unfortunately, what you think should have happened to her is irrelevant to the casket that she's in.
I would agree. That's unfortunate. I don't think she should be dead. I feel like that whole situation with her wasn't an avoidable situation. And unfortunately,
it absolutely was avoidable because the ICE agents, if they were following DHS enforcement, would have never been harassing her to begin with. That's the avoidability that you're talking about. They weren't looking for anyone. They weren't blocked in the road, as seen by several ring camera footages of people driving around them for the entirety of the time that vehicle was there. At any point when she moved it, they could have went on about their business. She wasn't messing with them. She was protesting them, just like other folks in the region.
Okay, I would agree that it's fine to protest. I would just, however, think that it's different. How they did it was not the best way to do it.
Yeah,
it's fine
the
to
best
protest.
way to protest is irrelevant to me because there's no law that says how she has to protest. There is a law that says how ICE agents are not supposed to conduct with Americans unless they're impeding on their operations, which she wasn't doing. That's the only law I care about.
Okay, sir. Well, I would rebuttal by saying, how are they not doing that within the video shown from ICE agents of them being close enough to her car where it's basically blocking the street? So I don't know how that's not impeding with them.
It's a 2-lane one-way street. People are able to go around her. She wasn't impeding on any operation. Christine said that same day or within that week that what was going on was one of the apparently really piss poor drivers got their car stuck in the ditch because of the ice. Go figure. She didn't step out of her car and go towards their car. The wife didn't step out of the car and go towards their stuck car. The ICE agents pulled up to them, who was parked, got out of their vehicle and proceeded to antagonize them, and she got shot.
Well, I want to ask because I haven't seen a lot of footage of that. Is there anything to prove that, like ring cams, other people on the sidelines?
Yes. I thought she said you did a bunch of research into this. It's unfortunate for me because I've actually just deleted all of my Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy videos because I didn't know we were still going to go through this. But yes, there's footage. There's actually footage of it from the house across the street where somebody was filming, and there's footage from of a similar angle across the street from, I believe it was a black man who was recording it, and actually got the full shot of the car hitting the pole. I believe it was, if I remember correctly. So yes, we have footage. We have literally the angle of, I would say, everything leading up to the from where the car got stuck, because someone did a pan view of both where the car got stuck and where Renee was, which is about 2 to 3 houses down or further away from the car, all the way up to the end of the street where they can, I believe that's a 2-lane 2-way street. Or a 1-lane 2-way street, whatever.
Yeah. Also, technically, we only know it was stuck based off what they said. We didn't even see that in the footage.
Yes, that is what Christy Known specifically stated in a press conference when asked questions after saying that she was a domestic T. And then Tom Holman also said something, but I don't really... No, it wasn't Tom. It was Greg Bervino, who was fired?
Gone now. Yeah. Guy who liked to fashion himself as a Nazi. Yeah.
That was actually the event that got him fired.
That's hysterical.
Now, I want to ask this one here, because I think you got some really good points on that. I'll be honest with what I was talking about, I did some research into was the nurse dude. I didn't do a lot of research into Renee Good. I'm sorry if I confused that. But maybe I'll do a little more research into her on. But I'll be honest here. I feel like there's a big problem we have in our country. And before I voted for Donald Trump in 2020, because his first term, he got in, I was 16. So obviously I couldn't vote. And in 2020, I started voting for him. I believe it was, I was already 20. But either way, that's irrelevant. We have a huge, and I'm not saying this about you, but I'm definitely seeing it all over the place. There's a huge polarization problem in the United States. And honestly, I don't completely trust Fox. I don't completely trust any of these other sources. I see what they show me, and I try and do more research on top of that. Type deal.
Really quickly. So I saw a claim made on the YouTube chat a few minutes ago in regards to Biden cutting 40 million from VA in Aurora, Colorado. That's a load of bullshit. Now I'm seeing comments of someone else about the VA claim. They're complaining about being muted by a moderator. So just in case you guys need any clarification, if you spam some bullshit enough, you will catch my moderator's attention and they will silence you. In part because we do not spread gross amounts of misinformation in the live, and also because there's a call-in number that you can call and express your opinion, and we can fact check it in real time. And apparently I have to do it because you guys don't Google fucking anything. So that's why you were silenced. You're good now. Or not. Don't spam the same shit. Just know you're wrong. I looked it up. Sorry, go ahead, caller.
No, you're good. I was gonna say I was done with what I was saying there.
Was your point that we're just divided? What?
Yeah, we're extremely divided.
Why do you
because
think
honestly, go on.
Why do you think that?
Because I've had to leave Facebook and I'm starting to delete certain MAGA like people that I follow on Instagram because I'm like, I want a more nuanced perspective. I'm like, I don't want to hear Trump this, Trump that, but the Democrats did this and that. And I'm like, yeah, what don't they fuck up? So does the Republican Party. I'll be honest with you. I don't trust like 90% of the Republicans. I just do not trust a good portion of that party. And I feel the same way about the Democrats. I just feel like when it comes to a Democrat or a Republican, I could be wrong, but I think we're past the stage in this country of a moderate getting into the presidential seat. Because what we have been seeing for decades is either a hardline Democrat or a hardline Republican.
The majority of presidents that we've had in the United States have been moderate.
When was the last moderate one we had?
I would say Barack Obama and Joe Biden, but he leaned left in certain things, sure. But they're all moderates. They're all very center. We know this because we don't have universal health care.
I'll be honest, I am a big advocate for some things that are, what the hell is it called, progressive. And there's even times I butt heads with other progressives, and there's times where I butt heads with other Republicans. Because I'm like, I feel like we need this certain thing in. Like, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I do have autism and shit, like high functioning, OCD, ADHD, all that BS. I live on government income, and I live in government housing. And honestly, when Trump, like in his first full year, I think it was 2025, maybe the beginning of 2026, I had my food stamps cut down significantly, which I know that was because of Trump. I'm not going to deny it.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Didn't you tell Hector that you don't regret your vote?
No, I don't. I really don't. I honestly, just to put some perspective into that, I did not like food stamps at all. I did not want them. And the fact that they lowered me from 180 something, maybe a little over 200 down to 60.
Why did you have them then? What?
Did you not like eating?
Okay, to me, I didn't want them. But the situation I had before, which is different to the apartment I live in now, because I lived in another one. Excuse me. I didn't even have it at first either when I moved there. But because, I'll be honest, during the Biden administration, it was really tough for me to get groceries. And to a certain degree here, I'll admit, Trump ain't doing no better. He's fucking up our gas. He's fucking up our grocery prices.
I'm confused as to how you needed help during the Biden administration. You qualified for help. You didn't want help. Help gets cut. You say you don't care. Trump's not making any difference. There's very confusing statements coming out of your mouth right now.
Okay, I can understand that. I should probably not go as what I've just been said. How about I say it like this here? I only got it during the Biden administration because it was rough for me to live off just my check to try and pay for rent, electricity, all my other essentials, like maybe some gaming shit, like my streaming stuff on top of that. So I got it then. And I'll admit at first it was a very generous amount, like 330, and then it lowered to like the mid 250s.
That's
And in the midst of that, grocery
more
prices
generous, sure.
went up and up and up and up. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. But then I'll admit, what's going?
I was just going to ask you a clarifying question. Somebody, I didn't hear you, and someone, and I think people in chat didn't hear you. When you were talking about your EBT, did you say it went from 180 to 60?
Yes, towards the, like, it was during the Trump administration. I'm pretty sure it was like, didn't it happen in like 26 or like 2025 where he was like.
He said he got 3 something under Biden, then he said 160, and then he said he went down to 80, I think now, since Trump took over. Which, fucking yikes.
I was about to say.
Okay. I wouldn't even know how to, and I do, this isn't to you, caller, to the comment section. I wouldn't know how to really fact check that because of the variables, the personal variables, and I would need to acknowledge first. But I mean, if that is true, how would I not regret my vote? I mean, like, I work with people who literally are like, our healthcare plan at my job went up, and they have, I think they have 2 children. They live in a townhome, and he's like, healthcare just went up, and literally we just signed, I think, a couple of months ago, and he voted for Trump, and he's like same as you. It's like, I don't regret my vote. But then you're asking questions of why your healthcare went up. And it's literally the things that I'm trying to understand those things. Like, yeah,
I get it.
I can't wrap my head around it. I'm not trying to understand. I can't wrap my head around the question of, like, not regretting your vote, and your vote is directly causing the thing that you're saying you don't like, or that's happening to you, rather.
I was about to say, I don't know if I'm trying to, I'll be honest, it's more than likely my fault, to be honest, why you're confused as shit. So I'm just trying to, like, help you understand it a bit more. The first time I got it under the Biden administration, it wasn't like I want this. It was a necessity. Like, if I wanted to make my ends meet, be able to feed myself, get the food stamps.
Thank you, Be Happy. So,
yeah,
do you not need food stamps now?
No, and in my opinion, it's because I have well, that probably wouldn't have been a word. I have, like, built up resilience, being able to be like, oh, I can buy this for this. This is cheap here. This is cheap there. This is not cheap here. Smart spending, basically.
So, A, you can just call and cancel it if it's that important.
And that's what I did.
B, the reasons why you needed SNAP way back when, and the reasons why you continue to benefit from it, even though I imagine for some time, according to you, you did not need it, is not very different from other Americans in the United States. There are some who needed it infinitely more than you did and didn't even get the amount that you did. In certain states, those people lost their benefits or had it reduced or are being consistently questioned on behalf of every single entry of finance they could get, like a $50 gift from their damn dad on Venmo, and then the fucking SNAP administration is asking, hey, was this a recurring payment? If we're going to use this to cut your shit. Meanwhile, inflation is up 4.2%. It has outpaced wage growth once again. The war in Iran has jacked up the prices of goods and gas and everything in between. The healthcare benefits have been cut with no replacement in sight.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see how that's negatively impacting not only yourself, I guess, at least from a beneficial perspective of getting 80 something bucks a month just because, and to be fair, that's your goddamn money that you pay in taxes, and everything else. You don't. Why don't you regret your vote? That's my question. Maybe I should have asked that from the jump. Why don't you regret your vote?
So
before you answer that really quickly, W's in the chat to Wesley for the $2 super chat. Thanks for the fact check on that. Yeah, I was just happening to look at the comments on YouTube that one time, and I saw that. I was like, that's fucking stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And no, it's bullshit. I don't know where they got that from. They can call in, though. They won't. W's in the chat to Sean for the $5 super chat. Hector speaks. There were 3 veterans in chat calling BS. Veterans who lie for cadet bone spurs only hurt U.S. folks. I've been in the system since 91. I knew you was going to get them. I knew you was going to get them, man. Thank you so much. W's in the chat to you. Guys, best way to support the platform is going to be the links in the bio. If you can, follow all the social medias, join the Discord community. If you want to, get your merch off the merch shop. Subscribers, members, and super fans, remember you have a discount code. And direct donations are Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Hector Talks with 2 R's and Cash App and Venmo. PayPal, Hector Pal with 2 O's and 2 R's. If you're over on the Tube side, Super Chat, Super Sticker, or becoming a member, please make sure you hit the like button on the stream, subscribe, turn on notification bells. Manny is also here. Can we get Manny to 1,000 coins? And if we can knock out these journeys as well, and let's get the likes up to 300K, because I'm getting tired. Do all the good things. I appreciate every last one of you. Why don't you regret your vote for Trump?
For me, it's more of like a thing of like, I'm getting some of the things that I want done. And I'll be honest, I feel like to a certain degree that's going to happen with every president, what I'm about to say. There's also things that are biting me and every American in the ass. We've had our political system's been that way for a long fucking time. So I'm just like looking at it between the things of like, oh, this is happening. This is shitty. Whatever, I can get around that. Or it's like, oh, I'm liking this, that this is happening. Cool. So I don't completely regret my vote of Donald Trump. It's just the fact that Trump and his constituents can be a bit much.
How has Donald Trump positively impacted your life since taking the Oval Office on January the 20th, 2025?
I would say to a certain degree. It's not like, oh, he's God. He just totally fixed everything. No. It's like under the Biden administration in my region, I'm in the middle, not the Middle East, what the fuck am I saying? I'm in the Midwest. And I don't know what I'm saying. The fucking milk in our region, like before then, it was hovering around like 270, 290 for like a gallon of milk, that type of shit. And during the Biden administration, it was like $4 to probably like $4.30 a gallon. It fluctuated. And it's doing the same thing under Trump. Now, would I want to pay the amount I'm paying in milk right now? No. But I see the reason why it's happening is because of Iran. I'll be honest, we had a steady, like, not like God tier affordable, but like, you can get by. We can get by with what we had. But before we decided to fuck around with Iran, I believe those things were more stable. But now, because of it and us fucking around with them in the Strait of Hormuz, things are fucked right. And I'm not going to deny that. And we're certainly not the only country feeling the pinch.
So you don't regret your vote for Donald Trump because milk was higher under Biden, even though those are all factors that were not negatively impacted by Donald Trump's or Joe Biden's policies. But to be clear, the price of milk now, alongside other goods and groceries, has been directly increased because of the actions of Donald Trump.
But didn't he also say that it was actually okay underneath Joe Biden just now? Like I think the term he used was reasonably steady or reasonable or something.
No, I'm talking about like reasonably steady. Like before the war with Iran under Trump, some things like gas, maybe some certain groceries were reasonable. Like I'm pretty sure before the war with Iran, at least in my region, was at least like $3.30 a gallon or like $3.50 a gallon. That's what it would fluctuate between. That type of deal. And milk here for it was like, I'm thinking between like $2.95 to $3.19 a gallon before the Iran war. And now it's spiked up to $3.64 or $3.63, something like that. And I go to Aldi. I'll admit it, it's like, I see why it's going up is because we fucked with Iran. Before we did that with Iran under Trump's second term, things were relatively affordable. And the reason I'll still support him to a certain degree is because that once this whole thing's done, I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight because it never does. things will go back to normal, because not other countries, but our country in the past, after it's been in a conflict like this that has screwed up our economy, it over time gets itself back to normal. You know what I'm saying?
The backup.
Yeah,
It finds some way to do it.
Yeah, that's some way is when after a Republican, and sorry, not sorry, but after a Republican gets us into another Middle Eastern war, a Democrat comes in and fixes our economy. Yeah, how it's somehow, some way, everything works out in the end because everybody goes and votes a Democrat in. Thanks, Obama.
I don't know why you have to be a smartass, but okay.
I mean, 11 out of the 12 recessions we've had have been under Republican rule. In the Republican administrations, shit was always bad. And I'm not even talking about 2020 and Trump because of COVID, because that was out of his control, although he made it worse to some degree. I just mean in general, Bill Clinton cleaned up. Obama cleaned up. Biden cleaned up. Like you said, beginning of Donald Trump's term, those prices were reasonable, aside, I guess, eggs because of the bird flu. Inflation, before Donald Trump took over, 3%. And that's because it went up a tiny bit for a couple of months. But since actually over the entirety of 2024, it was in 3%, went down to as low as 2.4%, 2.3, 2.4%. Those grocery prices that you're talking about remained low under Trump's policies. We just saw that trickle down, downward trend, until Donald Trump's policies actually were implemented, specifically his blanket tariff war with the entire world. And then everything went up. Studies showed that the average American paid $1,700 more on goods last year because of his tariffs, on and off, on and off, on and off. And that's not including other things. The cuts to healthcare, the people that were harmed during the government shutdowns, so on and so forth. The point is, especially in 2026, seeing the full fruition, I won't even say full fruition, but a large portion of the fruition of his policies, it doesn't seem like it's actually working so well. Versus 2025, when he was riding the curtails of the economy that Democrats, with some Republicans in the House and the Senate, were able to stabilize. And if you look throughout history, and I mean seriously fucking look throughout the last couple administrations and presidencies, it's a circle. Not a circle. What's the word I'm looking for, guys? The
roller coaster?
What goes around, just all repeating itself. History repeating itself. It's all the same shit. Hold for 1 second.
Call from
Caroline Blackburn.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
How old are you, Caroline Blackburn?
I'm like,
get the fuck out of here.
That's crazy.
So as I was saying, she said, I'm like, that's crazy.
That's insane.
But as I was saying, caller, I don't know. It literally all you've been saying up here, and I don't know if you're nervous, I don't know if you're not articulating your word rights, I don't know if there's something you're not telling us, but it sounds like you didn't have much reasons to vote for him to begin with. You said you don't like Republicans. Is there something that you like about Trump?
Yes, honestly. I don't think he bullshits us. Like you said, he tells us what he thinks. And there's times where I'm like, I don't agree with you on that, Trump, but there's times where I agree with him. And honestly, to me, he doesn't feel like what am I trying to say, like a polished politician. He doesn't feel like that. I never really voted at all because of that type of crap. You know what I'm saying? I was honestly, before 2020, more of an independent. And I never planned on voting. Because all I ever heard was politician this, politician that. And whenever I heard that he was a businessman, I'm like, oh, maybe that's a good change of pace. So I don't like voting in career politicians.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 26.
And you said you don't like voting in career politicians?
Yes, sir.
And how old are you?
I'm 26.
When was the first time you voted?
2020. I would have been 20.
Hold for 1 moment.
Call from
Jessica.
To accept, press 1. To
The
send a
number's not
voicemail,
showing
press
up.
2.
Jessica, how old are you?
I'm 25.
I don't believe you. So, we reached a point in the show where I'm going to say the part that I've been holding off on saying this whole time.
Okay.
And, well, first off, I want to address the last thing you said, which is you like that he just says what he thinks.
Yes,
So,
sir.
I don't know what it's going to take for human beings to understand that people who just say the first thing that they think is not a good thing. In fact, it's quite literally led to quite a bit of harm, especially when that person is really stupid, which, to be super clear, the President of the United States is a fucking moron. He says some of the most asinine things, such as magnets don't work underwater, and we can nuke hurricanes, suggesting injecting disinfectant into the bloodstream. Didn't know he was the president of Puerto Rico. 2020 festival was stolen. All that good stuff. He just talks out of his ass. Airports in the Revolutionary War. Yeah, that. Sharks and batteries. The list goes on and on and on and on. Windmills cause cancer. The list goes on and on. Stares directly into the sun in a solar eclipse. So, being blunt, especially being bluntly a cruel, apathetic dick, is not good. And I don't know why you'd respect that.
I don't respect that part of him. I feel like I'm a person who can look between things. Like, he can be that way, yes. But I also feel like some of the policies he brings out can help us.
Like what?
Like, to me, putting our country first. Like telling NATO to shove it if they don't want to help. Because of all the times we've helped them, and the versus the amount of times we get help from them is extremely unbalanced. And like we've shown them here lately, if you don't want to help, sayonara.
Okay. When has NATO asked us for help?
I would say they've asked us for help basically 3 times.
I'm sorry, that was a bad question. That was a bad question. That was a bad faith question. When is the last time a NATO ally asked us for help?
Trying to think. Pretty sure it would have been World War II, if I'm not mistaken. There might have also been some minor things between there. Maybe they would have, in like certain things, like maybe in the 80s or 90s with some things we've been through militarily, they provided like air defense or air support.
I don't know exactly.
When was the last time the United? I'm sorry.
No,
when was the last time the United States asked NATO for help?
What are you rocking on, Manny?
My chair.
Okay, I'm sorry. I heard the squeak. You was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Is that your knees? That's your granny?
No, it's my chair. I need some WD-50. It's help. I'm stimming because like this is the answer to that question would be 9/11. The answer would be 9/11.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure there was some point after World War II. So that's why I even second guess myself. Like maybe something in the 80s or 90s, but I didn't think about that. Yes, now that you say that, that is correct.
I think I'm gonna follow.
Who's the only member of NATO to enact Article 5?
Repeat that?
Who's the only member of NATO to enact Article 5? Spoiler alert, only meaning one.
I would imagine us.
Now, Article 4 has been enacted, I want to say, in the teens, 13 to 18 times. But Article 4 is just, hey guys, you want to get together and talk about something? So I don't really care about Article 4. I care about Article 5.
That's a reasonable take, yeah.
Article 5 means somebody or some bodies are getting put somewhere. And that's only been the United States. So when you say that NATO has refused to help us as an ally, NATO allies individually have helped us multiple times throughout the last 200 some odd years. for a multitude of things before they were even our allies. So, I don't really know what you're trying to get at with the whole NATO thing. I think that people who admonish NATO for the aspect of help don't really understand NATO. Don't know what NATO
I was about
is.
to say, I can see where you're coming from that. The thing with me is, it's like, I see it as this. We're a mutual partner, right? Us and NATO.
A mutual partner?
Like we're in a partnership, like of countries. Like, hey, someone fucks with us, we're gonna come and help you.
Guess you could put it that way.
Do you think NATO getting involved in every pesky little squabble, especially those not supported by the Congress, even of said nation in the United States, would threaten peace, threaten world peace, or encourage it?
I wouldn't think it would neither like encourage it or I can't think of what else you said. Would you say like or
encourage
or harm it?
World peace.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. It's to me, it's like the prospect of this. It's like we ask for your help with this, you do it for us. Because my perspective is this: we've helped you when you've asked for our help. It's only fair that you come and help us. Even if it's something minor like air defense, which they've done, but I also feel like to a certain degree they ought to at least help us with Iran. Because number one, Iran's been chanting death to our nation for 4 decades under the same leadership. And they're trying to get nuclear weapons. That's why to a fundamentalist of like our safety, I support Trump being over there. Now, I feel like at this point, he handled it terribly. He could have finished them off in the early stage, but he didn't. And that's why I'm pissed. Honestly, I've been done supporting that whole thing with him for almost a month.
What do you mean finish?
But I see why he's over there. I just think he's executing it terribly.
I'm gonna wrap up the NATO thing. NATO is NATO stands for North Atlantic Trade Agreement. Organization. Sorry, North Atlantic Trade Organization.
Treaty.
Treaty. North Atlantic Treaty. Okay, my bad. It is a defense organization. So defense being the operative word, because you said we help with air defense somewhere in your head with other NATO allies. It's a defense, though. That would be defense, not aggression,
okay.
Not offensive. It would be defensive. It would be in a response to an attack, not attacking first. So Trump cast the first stone.
Thank you, Katie, for the galaxy.
Could you repeat that? I was about to say, it's the audio on my phone.
Trump cast the first stone. This is the last sentence I said.
Mm-hmm.
So NATO wouldn't spring into action like the Avengers. Although, and I do want to put that there, although if I remember correctly, there were some allies of NATO that actually allowed us to use not only the NATO bases, but also I believe there was actually some ships going to come over, and then Donald Trump said in a tweet to turn back around, we don't need your help.
Yep, out of spite.
That was a crazy.
I was about to say I didn't hear about that, but I mean I wouldn't put it past them.
NATO refused to get involved in the war in Iran because of Israel as well, and the fact that they're actively committing a genocide in Gaza. And they're playing around with that. They'd rather not be another puppet of Israel in going and taking out Iran, especially when we're the one who instigated the conflict, because they choose to completely skip over diplomacy. Friendly reminder, chat, and maybe news to the guest on the call. Thank you so much, Katie, for the galaxy. We were in the middle of negotiating with Iran The two days before we struck them, February 28th, 2026, the 26th of February, we negotiated with them. I will never forget reading the article, to my surprise, where they said, the Iranian leaders said it was one of the most productive conversations they've had in a while. Or the Trump administration lying to their face to warm them up for the attack, since we know that now. And then we blew them to hell. And then not once did the President of the United States think, if we're going to play shady, maybe we should secure the Strait of Hormuz so they don't take it. Maybe we should warn our troops in the region, especially those of them that are not in secure facilities, to evacuate or get away from the region. Maybe we should have updated information and satellite data on the regions that we allege IRGC strongholds are, before we find out that they're actually school kids in class. He did none of that. Iran was bombed.
I would agree with that.
We've now been in a war for March, April, May. Over 3 months, going on 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of countries around the world that don't like us, that have negative opinions on us, don't cooperate with us. Our main concern with Iran is nukes, and we can't even prove that they have that. I really don't see how you can support this action, considering that everything it's done domestically and even internationally, but especially domestically, has made your life harder.
Mm-hmm. I would say that I'm pretty sure that they would have it, considering that, unless they're just using it as a pull grip, that they would not be using it as leverage if they don't have it. And all the times they said, we'll put it to 100% uranium, which again, unless they're just using it as a scare tactic, I wouldn't imagine that they wouldn't have it and wouldn't be threatening to use it. Because if you do, and then you don't pull the punches for a tyrannical regime, that'd be pretty stupid.
I'm gonna crash out.
I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Okay, it's a really well kept secret that nobody really knows. Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on it.
All right.
Iran has never said that they were going to go to 100%. And inside of their, I don't know how to pronounce the word for what we would consider to be our constitution, but inside of theirs, they actually say that they are never seeking nuclear weapons. It's actually written in their laws. Their laws state that they will never seek nuclear weaponry. That's theirs. So it's a well-known secret. It's best kept from everybody. And I get that you probably won't believe it because it's, why would you believe a foreign nation's laws, right? You don't have any reason.
Well, I mean, dude, I'll be honest with you. It's very plausible. But at the same time, I'm willing to be fair and say we don't know. We could know. It could be true. It could not be. But I'm also fair to say that just because they have it in their constitution, man, they're a tyrannical regime. There's the same thing with this in Russia. I'll use this as an example. Russia has certain things. The Vladimir Putin ran and created Russia. Has some things in their constitution that sounds good on paper, but in reality, they just make it sound good, and you can't really use those rights. You know what I'm saying? So in contrast to Iran, just because they say they will never make it doesn't mean they're just not lying to our face. Tyrannical regimes and communist regimes have a big history of putting up good talk, but being very sleazy.
Better argument, if they had the ability to make it, if we can actually track throughout the last 6 years specifically, considering that they had 60% enriched uranium since 2021, and it would only take matters of weeks to months to get to 90%, and then whatever else to blow us up with a nuke, they would have done so.
I was about to say, unless I'm wrong, haven't we tried to negotiate with them to keep them off? I could be wrong about that. I'm asking a question.
We did. Obama did. I'm not sure what efforts Joe Biden made in that department. But I know Obama did, and we made a deal, and we were safe. And it was 3.67% they couldn't go over. And then Trump came in and said, hey, This is a bad deal. Why is it a bad deal, Trump? I don't fucking know. And tore the shit up. It's called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. And
Okay, I'll be honest with you about that. Even though I don't have very much knowledge on it, I would agree with you that if it made some sort of progress, why rip it up?
That's what we've been asking ourselves for a decade now.
And it's a fair question to ask, my friend. And it really is. I'll be honest with you, I may not make sense, and that's fine. But to me, I feel like I'm just a very, pragmatic, or I just think differently than most. I'm willing to say, yeah, Trump, you're a shitbag for this, or Trump, you're doing this terribly as all get out. But I also feel like there's some positive things he does for us.
Can we get to one of them? I'm sorry.
Well, I would say personally that until our whole thing with Iran here, like I said before, we had more of a steadier, more on gas than grocery prices. And he's honestly been getting us more jobs. Like in the month of the month of May alone, he got 172,000 more jobs, which is yeah, good. He did better than what Wall Street, I believe, is the people who predicted the 80,000 jobs.
How did he get us those? Okay, two things. Unless it's unless it's in the government, the president doesn't necessarily create more jobs. He could incentivize Congress to pass things that would incentivize more business to create more jobs. But I don't know. I don't necessarily think just a bunch of minimum wage Amazon jobs is the end all be all for Americans. But whatever, job growth is job growth. Donald Trump has not necessarily contributed to those numbers. We absolutely know he's contributed to the unemployment rate, specifically in the federal government, because it's now 4.3% compared to the 4% that it was when he took the Oval Office. And gas prices, we are not even drilling to a substantial amount more than the Biden administration. So he's not impacting that. 4.3 for the third month in a row.
Wait, didn't we lose a bunch of jobs in 2025?
We did.
I was about to say, we did lose some jobs for sure. I'll give you that one. We did lose jobs.
Not some jobs. Not some jobs. I think it was the tune of a million jobs in 2025 alone.
You know, manufacturing, that thing he championed, 16% reduction from last year.
Mm-hmm.
You praise Donald Trump for the gas prices. That's literally the one thing that he should not, arguably no president has direct control over, but does not have control over, and somehow he found a way to actually have control over it with this war. And you're giving him a sticker of approval for 2025 gas prices?
Well, though, I could be confusing you, man. I'm saying that at this point, he's not kept his promise on that 100%. Because until the war, they were relatively affordable. And again, I will say this because we are talking about the whole Iran situation. He did not keep his promise of no wars. That I've been very critical on him for that. He's lied consistently about that. No matter how many times he's like, oh, I never said, I didn't lie. Motherfucker, you did lie, okay? You lied. He lied on that for sure.
The things you keep saying that were affordable before this administration or before this war started is not even completely true, because we saw them start to trend upwards near the end of the year for sure, and in some cases before in certain goods because of his tariffs. But even then, those are all things that Donald Trump did absolutely nothing to control. Nothing.
Okay.
I think. Oh yeah, this is the part that I wanted to say. I forgot to do this, because I'm actually glad and I actually appreciate you for having more than just but Kamala. But now I feel like she's relevant to the conversation, because from everything what you said, you don't really care much for Trump. other than liking his abrasiveness or whatever. You benefited from Snap, so you're not one of those people who think people are just hogging off of Snap. You don't like a lot of Republicans. Not that you like Democrats, but you really can't stand Republicans. You acknowledge the fact that he's a bold-faced liar, and that he played in their faces in regards to war, and now he's negatively impacting all these different factors. All of the things that Donald Trump has done to make American lives more difficult were things that Kamala Harris ran off of, the opposite of what Kamala Harris ran off of. So what was your issue with her? Because we've reached the point in the conversation to where either the reason why you didn't vote for Democrats is because you're a racist, xenophobe, a Nazi sympathizer, a sexist, or you just didn't know any better. Now, I'm leaning towards the just didn't know any better part. Guess we'll find out.
Okay.
What was your issue with Kamala Harris?
With me, mainly, it was some of the shit she would say, and in my opinion, her competence. Like, it was mainly the fact that she was like, I can't remember for quote for what she said, but she basically was, in my opinion, threatening our Second Amendment. And I wouldn't have cared to vote for Democrat or Republican. It's just, to me, I don't trust a good portion of the Republican Party because of slimy fucking average career politicians. And with the Democrats, it's very similar. And this includes, in my opinion, Kamala. They're too far right. I mean, far right. Damn it. They're too far left. And they have, like, there are some ideals that I think they could mix in and not just be straight up socialist. Because straight up socialism is literally would lead us straight to our own version of Kim Jong-un.
Donald Trump has ran off of and implemented some socialist policies already. He's gotten the United States 10% stock in NVIDIA or Intel?
Yeah.
The child fund, the wealth fund for kids from 0 to 18 for people born after 2025, 2026 or some shit like that. The now completely running away from it, even though he ran off of it on a campaign trail when he was getting desperate for white women's votes. Paying for IVF and making the government pay for that. Donald Trump is not afraid of socialism. He just doesn't call it that, and then you guys eat it up. You said corporate socialism, that part. You said her competence and what she said. So what did she, what specifically, if you can think of an event, I'll make this quick. What did she say or do that made you believe she wasn't incompetent?
To me, it's literally the fact that during one of her rallies, right, to like boost up her supporters' morale, she was reading off one of those machines, right? And the moment it died out, or whatever caused it to turn off, she was literally all like repeating herself like a broken record. She couldn't say anything. In my personal opinion, if you rely that hard on basically a oversight TV to tell you what to say in front of your supporters, how can we trust you to actually negotiate with threatening world powers like North Korea, China, people like that, or other world leaders that are friends with us? Like, in my opinion, if you need that to just simply tell a group what you want to say to get elected, how can we trust you at the negotiation table?
October 2024, Vice President Kamala Harris experienced a noticeable teleprompter malfunction during a campaign rally in Flint, Michigan. The device appeared to stop working mid-speech, causing her to get stuck on a loop and repeat the phrase 32 days multiple times before recovering. Okay. So let's do this. And I got you, Katie. Let's do this really quickly. Do you know any of Kamala Harris's policies?
I know she was fucking gonna do some stuff on like healthcare. Like, I'm pretty sure she was gonna like try and get healthcare for people or like certain groups, you know, or make it easier for them to get to fucking like healthcare
It wasn't
type
for
deal.
any specific group. I mean, she would always talk about marginalized communities specifically have less access to healthcare, but expansions of the ACA, which was temporary and was supposed to be a pathway to universal healthcare, what Barack Obama originally ran off of before capitalism curbed him. That's what she talked about. But let me give you three off the top of my head. A federal price gouging ban. It's already implemented in states, including red ones, mind you. And this is where the state's ability, and then upon her administration, the federal government would have had the ability to step in when a corporation or institution was irrationally gouging out the price of a good or service they were selling outside of reasonable supply and demand issues. This would allow the Attorney General of the United States to come in and prosecute that administration or corporation and then utilize that money and their wins to pay back the American people, much like she did as Attorney General in the state of California when she prosecuted for-profit colleges with discriminatory or predatory loans, literally won $25 billion for those students who were negatively impacted by those institutions. Policy number two. We know housing is ridiculously unaffordable right now and rent is going up, and that's in part because of a supply and demand issue. So she had a plan to build 3 million new homes by the end of her first term, probably would extend it to the second, let's be real. But by actively putting more homes on the market, that would have reduced the price of what's existent right now because it would have been more versus the limitation that is somewhat warranting the prices. And then she would have done so by opening up federal land, tax incentives for affordable home buyers, in part using renewable sources or cleaner sources, which have also brought down the cost of energy for the people who would have moved into those homes, alongside her $25,000 down payment assistance program to get people up in there. Last policy, S4361, which would have been the bill that she would have signed into law that Republicans shut down in the Senate, which would have been border security, because that's a big thing that people keep freaking crying about. And that's not her policy. Fuck it, I'm not going to bring up that up. $50,000 tax credit to first-time business owners from the $5,000 that it's currently at. She literally would have increased it by 10 times, incentivizing and assisting the middle class to start their own businesses, to lift themselves by the bootstrap and encourage generational wealth for the average American to achieve said American dream. Do any of those things sound like shit to you?
No.
So,
they don't.
Imagine why I'm baffled. That one mistake on a rally where she had a slip of a teleprompter that threw her off, for a woman who admittedly, and she said this herself, was never necessarily the best public speaker. She's always been more so a behind the scenes person. We have the policies and legislation she sponsored to prove it. Why did one slip up of the words or one mishap on the teleprompter make you think she's incompetent when Donald Trump went on hour-long rambles about Biden and Arnold Palmer's dick and women he can't stand and disabled people and immigrants and how tariffs aren't paid by the consumer and every other thing? None of that. Gross loads of incompetence and stupidity and just utter tomfoolery made you think he was incompetent. But Kamala Harris to slip up on that teleprompter told you everything you thought you needed to know.
Well, I would say that... No, I'm sorry.
I was finished.
I was just about to say, he is exactly that for being that way about it. Now, do I think Trump, like I said, goes too far, goes on tirade? Yeah. But it's not just that with her. And in my opinion, there's been multiple incidents of,
Jimmy Barnes is?
Trump. God damn it. Yeah?
Do you know who Jimmy Barnes is?
No, I don't.
You ever heard him scream?
No, I have not.
This shit's hilarious. Listen to this. Caller, I wasn't going to do you too dirty because you've been respectful. But then that last thing was the nail in the coffin, and I'm just going to tell you what it was. And you're not going to understand this, and you're going to complain. You're going to say, this is the problem with the left because they always use these big words, but I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And here's the thing.
Call from.
My name's Dan.
I think the reason why you were able to just absolutely demonize her for that, because that was the first thing you said. You said that wasn't the only thing, and I feel like we spent a lot of that fucking conversation begging you to tell us why the fuck you support Trump or don't. And you finally came to your reasons 20 minutes later. But the reason why Kamala Harris could seemingly do nothing right and have all these slip-ups and Donald Trump can do no wrong is because you're sexist. You have a negative perception of women. You do not afford women the same grace you afford men when they slip up. And it can even go as farther to be some misogynoir. A specific level of discrimination that you would put towards black women. Now you may be thinking, that's a gross misconception of how I feel. Well, if you don't understand those systems, then you wouldn't understand how you're a part of it. In which case, figure that out. Don't be offended by the words. Be more offended on if it's true. Erica says this shit all the goddamn time. You guys are sometimes more offended by what we call you versus actually being that thing. And let me be clear, misogynoir is racism. It could be a light form. There's no, whatever. But go unpack that. I will say I appreciate your civility. And I will say I appreciate your, the fact that you're actually able to engage in a conversation. But you've also got to get your fucking shit in order. Feel free to call back at a later date. W's in the chat. Big W's in the chat. And apologies, Katie. I just wanted to make sure I did that in a certain way. For the $50 Cash App to kick callers' willful ignorance. And that's the part that kills me, Katie. It is willful. A lot of it is willful. A lot of it is willful. That's the part that kills me. It's one thing to be ignorant and stupid, because I was ignorant and stupid at the time. I'm still ignorant and stupid on several things, I'm sure. But it's another thing to choose to stay there. That's my fucking issue with some people sometimes. You guys actively choose ignorance, and it's strange. W's in the chat to Dean for the $1. Was caller impressed with Trump talking about Honorable Palmer's dick for 10 minutes? Yeah. With that being said, I'm tired. I'm tired, boss.
You outie?
We are 20 minutes away from the 4-hour mark, and we couldn't even hit 400,000 likes. I'm not even going to ask y'all to try and get there. Fuck you guys. I appreciate the people who are tapping. To the rest of you, fuck y'all. Let's see who we can raid. Manny, you got any final thoughts for the people?
I have several. So first, I think the more you talk to them like that, the more they're not going to tap because they like when you talk to them that way.
You know, Manny, I want to tell you you're wrong, but you're not. And the thing is, when I talk to them nicely, doesn't seem to get the ball moving either. And you can say that I've conditioned them to be this way. I would disagree, because I wasn't always like this. Fun fact, and I actually learned this last year. It's the funniest shit ever. I Googled what Hector meant. And when I saw that it meant bully, I fucking died. I fucking died. It's almost as if I didn't have a choice. It's almost as if I didn't have a choice.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much, Katie. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support.
The only other thing I was going to say was thank you all for the coins. Always appreciate it, never need it. My number one way of supporting me is just honestly following me, specifically
Substack.
on Substack. Yep. My link is in the bio. Anybody who wants to support me, just following me and reading my shit on Substack means the most to me. I don't need, nor do I ever ask for any monetary payments or anything of that nature. If monetary gifts, because cash is how people show love. If that is what you would like to do to show your appreciation and love, for me, I have a link in the bio for another person, Just Money, down in the comment section. So if you want to support me with money, you should go and shower her links with that. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, she's right there. Look, Monica's right there, guys. I mean, I know she's there, but I'm just saying, pointing out the comment. Monica's right there. Oh, Erica's here. What does Erica want?
It was totally given like how can I put this in a way that you can understand? It was definitely given anti-woman for a moment. Were you not looking at your request?
Oh, you talking about me? No, I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I have a proposition.
What is it?
How tired are you?
Tired enough that whatever proposition you're gonna try to present to me that involves TikTok locking ain't gonna happen.
Why are you so mean? Especially to me.
I have to pack.
Oh. Wait, you gonna be off tomorrow? I thought it was Saturday.
Leave in the afternoon.
Oh, fudgesicles. When you come back?
Drive.
When you come back?
Tuesday.
Tuesday? Are you gonna be gone until Tuesday?
Like no live Tuesday till Tuesday?
Holy shit, sir! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You don't tell me nothing.
I literally
What are the people gonna do? Erica's got to make up
part.
so many hours now.
I don't know if Matt's gonna be on tonight, but YouTube already set the live
Matt's
to
not
direct
on.
y'all to Amanda. In fact, while none of you are still over there, I think I'm just gonna end it for YouTube really quickly. What the fuck? Hold on.
No, Matt's not on tonight.
But Amanda Informed is live, or No Rads. Those of you know her that way. If you don't know No Rads or Amanda Informed, she's fucking exceptional. She's fucking exceptional. My favorite thing about her, I kid you not, I have never seen Amanda crash out. I've never seen them crash out. Not once.
You've never seen her crash out before?
Never seen them crash out.
I have.
Oh, fascinating. But yeah, Amanda's awesome. Go enjoy
She is.
their show. And YouTube, thank you so much for the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscriptions. Please hit the like button on your way out and subscribe, turn on notification bells. To the people who send super chats, super stickers, and became members or sent memberships, thank y'all so much. Because this shit ain't free and it takes a lot to do it, and I appreciate every last one of you who helped me do that on a monthly basis. The YouTube is picking up. About fucking time. Thank you guys so much for your help. Shout out to some of the hardest working mods. Thank y'all for watching the chat and checking the things that I do not. Shout out to the members. And I'll catch y'all Tuesday. Maybe I'll do a random live on the road. Maybe I'll do a random live
yeah,
on the
you
road.
will. You'll come sit on someone's panel.
The problem is, I'll let y'all know a little bit of lore. And this is actually why I'm a little more upset that I don't have my laptop and everything.
Someone
else.
send Hector $1,000 right now so he can get a laptop. Please.
So, the person I'm going to be on the road with
Please.
is a dear friend of mine. And he is apolitical. In fact, I'll say it. He's a political fucking moron. So can I sit in the car?
You could be in hell.
Can I sit in the car and join panels and debate people? Sure. And then I have to listen to his ad-libs. And then that's so... No.
Oh, that sounds fucking awful.
No. Absolutely.
Oh, that's
fucking
bad.
Yeah. That's honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I got up today, I was a little upset. Because I was like, you would think like a long ass car ride would be cool, right? It would be cool, you know, you get to do this, do that, Josh around, blah, blah, but it's like that. Guys, I'm a political fucking person. I'm a very political fucking person. Yes, I have my moments where I just turn that shit off when I'm on my vacations, everything else. But I do like to talk about the shit because it's a part of life. The fact that I have anyone in my life right now who's not involved in politics is shocking to me, but I've known this man since I was 8 years old. And he legitimately, in so many ways, is a good person. He's just fucking stupid when it comes to that one thing. And it pisses me off. But he's a good friend. He's moving, and I'm going to help him out. I'm going to miss him a little bit. And, yeah. A MacBook Neo doesn't cost $1,000. Yeah, I don't know why you think I can do what I do with a MacBook Neo. That's like the tiny one, right? The new, basically affordable MacBook. I couldn't do fucking shit with that. I have a mini as it is. It's basically a mini.
You
No,
like the
the
studio or the one that's above a studio?
the one I'm getting is $2,200 fucking dollars. The space, the processing power, $2,200 fucking dollars. But then, guess what? I'm going to be able to dual stream to Instagram. Excuse me. I'm going to be able to stream to Instagram as well. I
Multi-stream.
may start Twitch. I'm going to be able to get my third monitor attached. We can go MAGA hunting again. We literally can't go MAGA hunting on my computer anymore. I can't handle it.
What happened? I don't know shit. What do you mean?
Studio and stuff just
His
updated
computer
and it slowed it down.
is old.
Yeah. You just can't handle all the things I want to do now. And I'm still going to have it. I may just keep it for other things or give it away. It's a good computer, but it's just I didn't expect to be doing all of this when I got it. It's not enough.
Fair. So you're about to go and spend some money on a Mac?
Oh yeah, I want a MacBook laptop. I got used to the Mac interface. Everything I have is on it, so I don't give a shit. Educator discount? Do I know any educators?
Teachers?
I can steal one. I mean, I'll find one. I mean, I have 57,000 followers. I can find somebody. Oh, excuse me. I have 57,000 followers on here. Wait, hold on. How many? Do we have 100,000 combined?
Ooh, awesome.
Let me see. Hold on. How many do we have combined? Okay. Ooh, Instagram just hit 39,000. And then here,
awesome.
What is it? 50. What do we hear? What do we hear?
Oh, Hector, I got my clip for tomorrow.
I'm still not at 57. You got your clip for tomorrow?
Yeah, this kid, I don't know if you were there or not, but this kid was like, he supports Trump because of immigration. Long story short, he said that immigrants commit more crimes than U.S. citizens, right? That's what he said at a high rate. And then he looked it up and he goes, per a Cato study, he said per a Cato study, because Texas is the only one that tracks it. So per this Cato study, undocumented immigrants are convicted at a lower rate for violent crimes than American-born citizens. I said, read that again. So he read it again. I said, do you understand what you just read? And I explained it to him, I was like, so that means they commit crime at a lower rate than American citizens because you can't track arrests because anyone could be arrested for it, right? And he was like, yeah. So I said, do you understand that you just disproved yourself? He said, no, I didn't. I said, okay, read it one more time. Third time's a charm. He read it a third time and was like, oh, yeah, I get it.
Wow.
I can't wait to post that one.
Please
I might
put
even
that.
post that one
Yes.
to Instagram. All right. Maybe I can get, 40,000 followers over there. You know how much I hate Instagram.
You just need, again, I suggested the 3 hashtags. I looked at a couple of your videos earlier. You're using the wrong Reels one. It's supposed to be Reels, Reels. You had one with the little thing over it like it was Spanish. But anyway, I'll message you.
I learned that in Spain.
It's just all you need is the right video. That's what it was for me. And it's pinned on my thing right now. Currently sitting at 650 something thousand views, 76,000 likes. That is my most viewed video. The Word of Race one did pretty good too. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I'm saying something. Oh, bye YouTube. I set the live to raid